Welcome back, Wayfarer. We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Greetings and salutations. Today we shall take a brief excerpt from the workbook for the spiritual development of all people. This is from the revised edition by Grandmaster of Dao, Ni Hua Qing. It was published in 1984. The revised edition, which I worked on, was republished in 1992. Sit back, relax, take a deep breath. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Let's begin. The responsiveness of the mind and one's behavior play a decisive role in one's personal fortune. A person's natural energy formation is fundamental to his or her fortune. For example, a duck has a long neck but short legs. This is its natural formation. One would not try to cut off the duck's neck or try to lengthen its legs and thus have a more desirable duck. As for an individual's or a family's fortune, there are always some things longer and some things shorter. Likewise, for an individual's character, there are always some things that are longer and some things that are shorter. The responsibility for one's life rests solely with the individual. It cannot be placed on external connections, such as family fortune or social conditions. To accept the natural conditions of one's life simply as they are frees one from the burden of concepts such as retribution, sin, or guilt. However, just as the individual cannot be judged by their family background, neither can a family be judged by any of its individual members. The process of nature is always evolving and transforming, especially with regard to human life. The process of growth of an individual happens over the course of many lifetimes through varied life experiences. This is actually the meaning of evolution. Because we are constantly learning and growing, in every moment we are forming or reforming ourselves. The environment just reacts to what and how we are forming. As we change, our environment also changes. As it changes, does the subtle reformation of the spiritual environment continue to suit us? Each individual is responsible for every moment of his or her being. Tension creates tension, and self-dissolution creates dissolution of the subtle environment. The former is called negative creativeness, and the latter, positive creativeness. In the phase of having a physical life, harmony or balance is the highest virtue. Personal destiny is just the shadow of one's mind or the pattern of one's dreams. I would like to take a brief moment to welcome Free Gift from God. I see you out there in Happy Land, sir. Welcome. How are you doing? Let's continue. The science of astrology can tell general tendencies of the physical details of a life, but there is no predestined fate. Many children are born at the same day and hour of each year, but each individual is unique and is thus responsible for his or her personal achievement, especially spiritually. Their choices and efforts are what tell the true story of their fortune. In the general world, fatalism exists as a psychological escape for those who are self-defeated. But at the spiritual level, fatalism does not exist. Men and women can always do and be better if they decide to, spiritually. Good man, good to see you. Welcome. Are you choosing to do and be better spiritually? I hope so. Therefore, spiritual education is higher than the moral education of the cultural sphere. Yet, in a general sense, the two cannot be divided. A spiritual person is naturally a moral person, but a moral person is not necessarily a highly spiritually achieved person. On the spiritual level, the real morality rests on the attainment of high spiritual awareness. This is natural morality. Imitation morality is a mockery. It is not real. If things are not real, how can they be natural? Moral education, which is given to the vast human society, is not natural because it is intellectual, but its source is the natural truth, and thus it should be valued and encouraged. Most people are not at a level where naturalness is beneficial to them. Whatever is natural cannot be considered moral or immoral. So, on a deep spiritual level, everything can be considered amoral. Morality only exists in the sphere of yin and yang, the relative world of opposites or duality. It is completely transcended at the level of the absolute. In the long run, one cannot escape the moral way. To a highly achieved spiritual person, being moral exists every moment, and it cannot be evaded. In the fundamental implication of the universal subtle law, it is still the unavoidable moral way. The foundation of morality is not the erroneous culture or religious morality. A life lived in harmony with the universe and the true self leads one to divine immortality after many years of sincere cultivation. Spiritual integration is natural morality, and natural morality is spiritual integration. We need to discard all cultural and religious fabrications and conceptions in order to experience natural morality, which is the natural health of life. They are merely expressions of suppressed and unachievable desire limited by the time, race, and spiritual status of their leaders. Even if we do not know anything about the concepts of religious fabrication, we may still know the truth of life. However, we cannot at any moment banish natural morality, for it expresses how we are shaped and formed as real beings in any time, in any space, and in any lifetime. Readers aside, I'd like to take a moment to welcome Free Gift from God to the chat. Good to see you again, my fine sir. I hope you are doing well. This is a brief reading from the complete workbook of spiritual development for all people, written by Master Nihua Qing, published by the Shrine of the Eternal Breath of Tao, College of Tao and Traditional Chinese Medicine, out of Santa Monica, California. This book, he says, is dedicated to those who are willing to work on their spiritual growth every day with unyielding determination and constancy. Does it sound like Crowley? Good stuff. I will briefly pass over. This one doesn't have any. This is an original. What is that called? The type of copy that you print before you actually print the book. This is one I took away when I was working with Master Nihua Qing and staying with him as his apprentice at his secret spiritual school in Oregon, outside of Medford. A wonderful experience in the youth of my life. Can you hear me? Give me fives if you can hear me. Can you hear me out in Happy Land? I do not see the response. Oh, there it is there. Let's move on. I'd like to do a few of the invocations. Chapter 5. Work to integrate your spiritual essence. On the road of self-cultivation. The origin. Before heaven and earth come into being and Taiji is not yet manifest, there is the great silence, the source of life. It has no form, no name, and is made of nothing. And yet, as the eternal breath of Tao, it contains all. It is, in its creative, subtle energy, continuously manifesting. We call it the mysterious mother or dark mother. In her divine embrace, she nurtures all life. We call it Tao. It is the subtle origin. All life depends on this. From the eternal breath of Tao came forth spontaneity as universal law, movement and change. Taiji revolving in time and space, and the yin and yang interacting energies form all manifestations in the relative sphere. This is the fundamental principle of the universe. This knowledge has been handed down to us by our revered Grandmaster. From the interaction within the subtle origin, the Dark Mother, all phenomena of life came forth through the balancing of the energies of yin and yang. Yang energy, referred to as heaven, is subtle and spiritual. It is creative and has action as its nature. Yin energy, referred to as earth, is coarse and physical. It is receptive and has cooperativeness as its nature. Yin and yang support each other in perfect harmony. The five basic types of energy are symbolized by fire, metal, water, wood, and earth. They manifest the relationship between all universal energies. They penetrate sub-energies and have their own main function. Each phase of transformation has a positive and negative, a yang and a yin, and within each phase of the five phases are contained. They work in perfect order and embody harmony. When the natural order is disturbed, disharmony results. So keep your five elements in perfect harmony. In the system of Xingyi Kung Fu, Neijia Kung Fu, that I learned, we oscillate through the five elements in our basic form called Wuxing Lianhuan, or five element circulation. We also have a system of Qigong that is called Wuxing Qigong, and it's the circulation of the five elements. We circulate through the five elements in the seasons as well. Next up, the law of change. All universal laws are under the governing law of change. In daily life, the five phases of transformation are present in every event. There are five kinds of relative situations existing at the same time, and every change can manifest the aspect of one of the phases. The law of relativity is illustrated by the five basic types of energy. The Book of Changes, or I Ching, is the tool to fully understand this universal law. Under the law of great transformation, the energies are constantly changing, never static. Their movement and change is constant. Therefore, the future of a person has several possibilities, but nothing is certain until the person makes it so. Before heaven and earth existed, there was something nebulous, silent, isolated, standing alone, sui generis, not changing, eternally revolving without fail, worthy to be the mother of all things. I do not know its name, and therefore I call it Tao. If forced to give it a name, I shall call it great. Being great implies reaching out in space. Reaching out in space implies far-reaching. Far-reaching implies reversion to the original point. The three realms of the universe. To have some understanding of the subtle workings of the universe, we categorize the different energies as realms. Obviously, me and you, my friend, dear free gift from God, Frater Francis the Jersey Devil, we are in the prime material plane, or the earth realm. There are three realms of existence. The spiritual realm, referred to as heaven, or the realm of utmost purity, contains spiritual power. In the human body, the celestial Dantian, or upper burner, connects with this realm. The mental realm, referred to as man, or the realm of crystal power, contains rational energy. This is the center Dantian in the body and also referred to as the terrestrial Dantian or the seat of the Christ consciousness. The physical realm, referred to as Earth or the realm of great purity, contains organic power. This corresponds to the lower Dantian or the infernal Dantian, the throne of the devil himself. Those realms also exist in the physical body. The spiritual realm resides in the head. The mental realm resides in the heart. The physical realm resides below the navel. These are the three Dantian bridge points leading to immortality. Since a human being is a miniature universe, all cosmic laws are the individual's laws as well. Gathering the coarse and subtle in his form, a person stands between heaven and earth, the bridge between them. The mind is the instrument to unite the spirit with the physical body. Quite a bit here, my friends. I will go no further with that great teaching, but I will move on to a section called the Golden Collection of Spiritual Practices, Invocations. We will start with one titled The Statement of Sincerity. You can invoke these often. Practicing these invocations is a way to build spiritual dignity and sublimity. Although in the spiritual world, everybody and every being stands as an equal, you might run afoul of being bullied or even harassed if you do not have some magical invocations to protect you from the beings that dwell there. Statement of sincerity. Repeat daily upon the 100-day challenge, Pathways of the Magic. I search only for the most refined divine energy, which reveals itself as the heavenly way. I am willing to follow the way of universal nature and renounce all distorted images and descriptions. I do not doubt the truth of natural beings, just as I do not doubt my own being. My life is the heavenly way itself, which dwells in this world. I respect my life and that of all other lives as well. I keep my life in obedience to the cosmic law of life. I will never violate the heavenly, responsive, universal law of harmony, nor will I hurt my life with ignorant behavior or negative thinking. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Good magic. The next section is called Purifications, in which there are 6 different purifications. These purifications should be done before any high celestial magic is performed, beginning with the purification of the mouth. Do each purification for 7 days and then add the next one. So for the first week, you would be doing the purification of the mouth. In the second week, you would do the purification of the mouth and the purification of the body. The purification of earth can be used when offering the earth when you offend the earth, such as pulling out a tree or doing any other work that disturbs the earth, such as clearing ground around a shrine. Or you can use it when you're doing noisy work like vacuuming or using chemical cleaners. It can be done to disperse negative energy. These 5 purifications are highlighted thusly. When the Tao reveals itself through the mouth, it manifests as the god of the mouth. When the Tao reveals itself through the body, it manifests itself as the god of the body. When the Tao reveals itself through the mind, it manifests itself as the god of the mind. When the Tao reveals itself through the earth, it manifests itself as the god of the earth. When the Tao manifests itself through your entire being, it manifests itself as the god of your entire being. Tao makes itself evident through its infinite variations, but in truth, it is one. Thus, all gods are a part of the great one God. Earlier in the 100-day challenge, Pathways of Magic, in week 1, you should have been setting up an altar. If you go to your altar space at any time, you can use the purification of earth to cleanse any negative energies from your altar. It reads thusly: Most responsive divinity of my altar, and all celestial and terrestrial spirits, assist me in communicating with all heavens and earths. Help me pass through the world of form and the world of no form with complete freedom. Do not hesitate to God, and help me in restoring my inner cosmic order and overcoming my habitual inertia and chaos. With this merit, you will share in my cultivation, join in my divine nature, and save me from falling. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. When you approach your altar, you may use the invocation of burning incense. This can be a daily practice for you if you are on a spiritual path. Invocation of burning incense. I cultivate myself following the heavenly way with my lucid mind and subtle energy. With this incense, I connect my whole being with that of all the divine immortals. Incense is burned in this beautiful censer so that I may present my spirit and mind to the highest realm of universal integration. The eyes of the divine spirits gaze upon my heart and reflect my devotion to the truth. The subtle energy of the divine immortals shining on this earthly altar makes my own energy divine and effective. I now request the highest divine energy of heaven to respond to me. I humbly transmit my sincere petition through the fragrant vibration of this incense. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. There are quite a few Daoist invocations in this most worthwhile text entitled The Workbook for the Spiritual Development of All People by Grand Master of Tao, Ni Hua Qing. It's interesting because his Chinese name, if you say it in Chinese, it actually means you are transformed into a purer state. So his name is actually an invocation. And when I studied with him as his apprentice, he gave me a spiritual name in Chinese that is actually an invocation as well. Gao Ke Li, Gao Ke Li, Ni Hao. All right, a beautiful one. And I'll finish here, and then I'll open the chat to anybody that might want to participate for a little while. I think we've got about 30 good minutes. And if you want to jump in and talk a little bit, I am more than happy to spend some time with you, about another 20 to 30 minutes before we pass into the abodes of evening. I have put the link in the chat room, so check it out. Check it out, y'all. All right. But I will finish with the golden light invocation. It follows thusly. The mysterious origin of heaven and earth is the source of pure energy. With this energy, we can rectify the imbalances and communication with the entirety. Within and without the three spheres of the universe, only the Tao is most revered. From the Tao, I receive the subtle golden light to envelop and protect my body and soul. It is so subtle that it cannot be seen or heard. The subtle golden light permeates heaven, earth, and me. It nourishes and educates all life. I touch this heavenly invocation with deepest sincerity. All spiritual beings gladly guard me. All high deities of the 5 directions and the 5 spiritual mountains come to assist me. All the divine immortals kindly accept me. The golden light enables me to transcend all worldly troubles. I am given power over all evil forces. The enlightenment comes from the divine immortals like thunder breaking the dark clouds. They inspire my clear wisdom to see through all things that are obstacles in my way. My upright chi is shining and active. May the jade marrow of heaven fill my bones. May the holy medicine of immortality grow within me. May the spiritual resources always reach me. I truly know the holy medicine of immortality is colorless and flavorless. After 10,000 repetitions of this invocation, the wonderful secrets of all supernatural beings become self evident to me. From the Jade Emperor, the everlasting one of the universe, may his golden light descend and guide me. So it is commanded and confirmed, so mote it be. Amen. Only 10,000 repetitions, guys. So get on it. If you do 10 a day, you can get it finished in like 3 into, let's see, 10 and 27, 2 points, about 3 years. Approximately 3 years, you can finish the Golden Light invocation, and you too can achieve spiritual immortality. All right, it looks like the Monkey King has joined us. So let's, with no further ado, let's welcome to the panel for today, the Monkey King. Hey, Monkey King 666, how the hell are you, man? What's going on out there in Happy Land?
What's up?
Not a lot, man. Just chilling like a villain, able and willing. What you got going on?
Yeah, man. Hold up. Wait a minute here.
Did you like that little presentation? Little 20-minute presentation of Dao.
Yeah.
Dao Ke Dao. Fei Chong Dao.
Yeah. Is there a way to contact the Dark Mother?
There is, man. You can come here to Beijing and go to White Cloud Temple with me, and I'll take you into one of her secret rooms. You can there are invocations to the Dark Mother. Let me see here. I might be able to find one for you. But yeah, you can go out under the dark night sky and just say write a prayer of your own, an invocation of your own, based on some. Why are you interested in contacting the Dark Mother, man? What are you up to?
It's just funny because
you got some powerful magic ready.
Nah, it's just funny because I don't know, man. If you really like look into religion and whatever, you really see like there's like all these same ideas spread across different times and places, and
Right.
it's just interesting because my whole like real serious like spiritual journey or whatever, like it stemmed from the Great Mother, or the Dark Mother rather, and like the idea behind that. And some people will, yeah, man, it's just crazy. Like this one guy I know started like a cult behind that idea of the Dark Mother, but it wasn't in the Daoist sense. It was like in a New Age type of deal thing.
Like Lilith?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there is one here. It says, through the cultivation of the subtle energy, we can achieve divine immortality. The refined energy within us can blossom to produce a sacred fetus of eternal life. If we keep our essence calm in the lower Dantian, the vital energy can be refined to nurture the duration of our being. Here, let me pass down to it. It says it is necessary to maintain non-action and follow the wonderful example of the Dark Mother by embodying the creative nothingness. In this way, we can cultivate our true spirit and energy. So yeah, keeping the mind centered on stillness is part of it. Well, yeah, the Dark Mother in Chinese, I think, is the you know how they say there's a dual black hole at the center of our cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that? Yeah,
Yes.
that's the representation of the ancient Dark Mother in Chinese Taoist cosmology, and they supposedly knew this intuitively before we even had like supposedly telescopes that could see that far. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of like there's like this one civilization that had like the solar system on a tablet, like a
Yeah, it
bronze tablet. So it's like the same thing, and it was like
was like the
I don't
Dogon.
I forget who it was, but Joe Rogan showed it on his podcast one time.
Yeah,
And
I think I'm
yeah, it's
familiar with that one.
crazy how they like know like what we knew with like limited technology or whatever. But I wanted to say that I believe I've been contacted by the Dark Mother once before many years ago. And
Really?
the way that it happened, or like the reason why we thought it happened, was because we were talking about that over the phone with some guy that I know years ago. And then like I had this weird experience, and then my cat started seeing what I was seeing. So I was like, okay, this is a little weird.
Yeah.
And I had on my altar at the time, I had Swarovski, which I guess you could kind of correlate with them to each other. She's just like,
What is that?
it's a Hindu figure. It's a Hindu
Okay.
goddess.
Okay.
And yeah, during that time I was also like not a part of this cult. It's hard to explain cuz
Okay.
like I definitely wasn't a part of it cuz I like seen that it was a cult type of deal, but like I knew the guy who was running it and we would talk. And so anyway, I thought like that was kind of part of it, like this kind of like energy whatever grid that's like attracting this entity, or it could have been his own entity, I don't know. But yeah, and then the Astarte is the Dark Mother as well, which is how
Right.
I found this channel in the first place, was off of Poke Runyon comment section
Yeah,
video.
my poke video. That one got some traction, man. I was pretty proud of that. Um
No, like
did
I
you
literally just saw your comment under one of his videos,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
I clicked on your profile and I was like, this guy's cool, so I subbed.
All
And
right.
then I would see that you would live stream, and there was like some other people in there. Like Mary was
Nice.
one of them,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like maybe some other dude. So yeah, I just think that's an interesting topic. And it wasn't too long ago that I learned about the Taoists and how they kind of like hold the same thing. And then like when you were reading the thing, it was kind of like it kind of felt like they were holding back, and you kind of have to like, you know what I'm saying, interpret or like understand what they're saying on a deeper level,
Yeah.
because it's deeper than just what they were saying, but they were like touching on it, but they were keeping it a secret. I just felt like that.
Well, a lot of people like there's not even a lot of information on Shenmue in on the internet in English, but we can find a lot. Like I go to the White Cloud Temple here in Beijing, and there's a lot of information there. But one Taoist priestess that I think is probably similar to Astarte. Let me see. I think I got a message coming in. Oh no! Holy shit! I don't want to answer any messages right now. Um, is called the Nine Heavens Dark Lady, and let me show it to you. It actually has a there's actually a Wikipedia page about it, which I think is interesting. Uh, if you're at the, I'll show it to you real quick. If you're at the Taoist temple here in Beijing, you can actually go and get a book of invocations to her, and she can aid you in different things. For example, if you want to launch a like militant spell against someone, she's a goddess of war. sex, and longevity. Her name is Jiu Tian Xuan Nu. So Xuan Nu means dark lady, right? The goddess was initially known as Xuan Nu. So these two characters right here, can you see those on your screen? Free gift from God. I don't know if you're paying attention to the.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, yeah. So those two characters, the first one, Xuan, means dark or mysterious, and the second one means woman. But when we say mother, we actually say Xuan Mu. So Jutian Xuan Yu, nine heaven mystery lady, the dark lady or the mysterious lady. She came about in the Tang Dynasty. There were a lot of powerful magicians in the Tang Dynasty. And when I was at university here in China, one of the things I studied a lot were the Tang poets and Tang magicians. I find their style is most it's the most compatible with what I like about Chinese culture. Um, so they've got stories here. She appeared to Huang Di. There you get talismans of martial tokens, the six Jia cyclicals, the six Ren cyclicals, so on and so forth. There's a lot here. But what I was going to say is that just making an amulet to her or like a sigil. So a set of Daoist texts produced after the Tang Dynasty associates the goddess with magical capabilities such as the skill of invisibility, the method of mobilizing the stars and the Northern Dipper to protect the state, and the Ling Bao Liu Ding specifies magic as a martial origin. But the idea that I was going to come to is just by writing these names right here on a piece of paper, specifically, you should take like a yellow strip of paper and write them vertically, top down. They can produce the effect if you meditate on them. Like if you take them into your magical meditation and put it up on your altar maybe or something and just spend time contemplating it. This, even if you don't know Chinese, this will unlock within your mind this power, the power to conceal your body, the power to conceal your destiny. So concealing magic is really important in Tao because we don't want other people to know where we are so that they can't attack us, right? Like obviously, you know, you don't want to be if someone can't see you, then they can't launch an attack on you.
Yeah.
And when you have go ahead. Yeah, when you have a lot of treasure or fortune, you don't want people finding that or getting, you know, knowing that you have it. You don't want them seeing you grow wealthy. That's why there's so many prohibitions to keep silent. You know, I'm kind of
Yeah.
breaking some of those prohibitions.
That's how I like to do shit.
Yeah, remember I don't know if you listened to the video I posted the other day, but it said ghost everybody and just grind. Did you see that one? It was so good. Like
No, what was that?
I've listened to it like 15 times since I posted it. If you go, don't worry. Wait a minute. Let me show you. I'll throw my page back up again. Hey, look, Michelle's here. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, you saw me on Flow State the other day. That was a lot of fun. I went on Flow State's panel chat, man. He's got a really big panel chat. Like there were a ton of people in there, man. That was cray. Welcome, Michelle. We're talking about Daoist Invocations today. Yeah, so if you go on my Frank Monday page and you click on the community tab, then you go down and in the community tab, I talked about my first time on Nachiketa's channel, and then I mentioned the study notes here for the 100-day challenge, right? This radio, man, I'm doing some really powerful magic with this radio. I have a radio transmission magic that I'm about to launch. Let me find it here. Yeah, this one. Can you see this? Free gift from God.
Okay.
I was going to see if I could copy the link, but I don't see it. Yeah. Ghost everyone and grind in silence. Yeah, it's so good. So good. You got to check it out for sure, man. It's so good. I swear I listened to it like a dozen times already, man.
I have a tendency to do that in kind of like a negative way, I guess.
Okay.
Because, like, this is the perfect example. One time I was going to college, like my first semester as a
Yeah,
freshman, right?
yeah,
And I had a roommate, and we got pretty close. Like it was kind of weird how like well we got together. So I kind of felt bad for doing this, but I was like, this is the best way to do it. So
yeah.
literally, I was like I was like on the soccer team, blah blah blah,
All
and
right.
we were both on the soccer team, and so we were close. Like we would do like almost everything together, and um and we
Sorry about
both
that.
hated it there. We both hated it there.
Yeah,
But like Oscar, his name was Oscar. He wasn't really like, I don't know, like me. Like I'm gonna make a move. Like if I'm not happy, like I make a move. You know what I mean? Like I'm always like very proactive. Like I very like if there's a problem, then we solve it immediately
yeah.
the best way we can. That's just how I am. Not everybody's like that. So
No,
for
it's good to
example,
do that. I like that.
yeah, yeah, but sometimes you feel like you're too much on the trigger, but like it's hard. It's like gambling. Like it could have gone either way, type shit. No matter what decision you made. Anyway, so I was leaving the first semester. Like after the first semester, I left, but I didn't tell my roommate until like literally the night before, like the night, and then the next morning I left, and I told him like, "Yo, dude, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back."
Yeah,
And it was kind of like it wasn't fucked up, but it was like sad. And so
yeah.
yeah, and then like I just quit my job yesterday.
Did you? You pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
You got the fuck out of there.
So I've quit 3 jobs in 2 weeks, which is funny. But
Yeah, I know.
um
What are you gonna do now? Are you looking for another job, or you already got one lined up
so yeah, I'm looking for another job. I have an interview at 3:15.
today?
Yeah,
Nice.
for customer service. Have you ever heard of Bet365?
No, I haven't. Never. What is it?
Bet365. It's like a gambling site. They have it in Europe, like in the
Oh,
soccer
really?
games. Yeah, like they have like sponsorships with the soccer teams in Europe, like the
Okay.
really big ones in the Premier League and stuff. I don't know about anymore, but I definitely know they used to.
I hadn't been in a casino in like 30 years, and on my last flight, they had to redirect me from LA to Las Vegas and then Vegas to like Hong Kong or something. It was a really weird flight trajectory. But I ended up spending like 10 hours in Vegas just cruising around. They have all the games in the airport. Isn't that a trip?
Yeah, I knew that, but I'd never been to Vegas, but like I just seen that on social media.
I've been there a couple times when I was young, but I hadn't been there in like 30 years or something. It was crazy. And here's the interesting thing too. It's the only airport in the world besides Tokyo that I've been that has like smoking rooms all over the airport. Like they had game
Really?
rooms where you could yeah, game rooms where you could go in and smoke inside the airport. It's totally a trip.
Well, yeah, you can smoke inside some casinos anywhere in the United States, but like not
Right.
all of them.
But almost everything's non-smoking anymore, right?
Kinda like in Atlantic City, like they smoke. Like you can.
Tokyo's got designated smoking areas all over the city, man. Because Japanese people, I guess, like to smoke.
Frank, can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
My bad. I got some fucking phone call, probably about a job, but I'm
No,
not
you
taking
bet. Go ahead,
any
answer it,
phone
man.
calls right now.
You
No,
can answer it
no.
if you want.
Just to give some advice out there to people. About 2 years ago, I caught a very, very. If you're a man in the United States, like 9 times, 8 times, 7 times, 0.5, around 7.5 to 8 times out of 10, you will be caught up in a what's called a domestic violence case. And the
Yeah.
reason for that is because the only way that you for domestic violence case to even be put a docket on to even for it to even for you to have a court date, all the person needs to say is this person abused me. They did X,
Yeah,
Y, Z. That's it.
yeah,
If they do that to the cops, there's a case. So
that's
anyway,
absolutely right. And they'll arrest you just based on a girl's word.
depending on the situation, they will arrest you. In my case,
Oh shit, has that
um,
happened?
the accusations or the amendments were bullshit from the jump, so they never arrested me. They called me up. They said, "Hey, we need to serve you these papers. We can read you your Miranda rights. Do you want to come down to the office, or do you want to?" So they were very chill. I never was arrested,
That's cool.
fingerprinted,
Yeah.
or anything like that. But anyway, so I ended up having a very, very good attorney. He was so good, like my case really didn't even fucking matter to him. He was doing like murders and shit. But he knew my father, and my father spent a bunch of money with them because he's had two divorces. So he
Yeah.
knows the law firm very well, and he spent a lot of money that like a lot, like almost $100,000, if not more.
What
And he
was your
helped pay
ultimate?
me.
What was your judgment? Did it get dismissed,
Oh,
nullified, or?
dismissal, early dismissal.
Oh, that's good, man. That's really
Early
good.
dismissal. I mean, when the defendant is blatantly caught up lying on the stand, you
Hmm.
win, or not the plaintiff. If
Right.
you yeah, guys, listen. If you are ever caught up in a lie, whether it's regarding to the case or not, if you're caught up lying on the
You can't
stand,
be
especially, it's not your case is done.
right. You can't be a credible witness any longer. And
Yeah.
if the only evidence they have is witness testimony, then yeah, that
Yeah, and that was the case. That's exactly what it was. I mean, listen, anyway, about phone calls. I used to receive phone calls from my lawyer, and I used to pick them up immediately because I was so anxious about the case. But what I learned was you actually want the lawyer office to call you, leave a voicemail so they state why they're calling you, and then you call back. So
right.
therefore, you have documentation of when they called and why they called and what they exactly had said. Um,
Absolutely. And you tell them too if they can put the details like any discoveries and stuff into the form of an email.
Yeah. And
Do
the
that all the
lawyer
time.
office was like, "Oh, you need to pick up my phone calls when I call," because they know I'm
No.
purposely letting it go to voicemail. But listen, guys, you can't trust anybody, even a lawyer, even
No.
your
That's
own lawyer.
right. That's right.
So, and
Everyone's working for themselves.
there was this one time where my trial got pushed back, but nobody notified me from the lawyer's office because there was
Yeah.
two dates about two anyway. So yeah, anyway, so this person called me. I'm gonna have them leave me a voicemail, even though this is not my lawyer, just so I can see who.
Monkey King, you lost audio. Monkey, you back? Hello?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is everything okay?
Yeah, yeah, you lost audio for a second.
Yeah, I was just saying, even when you apply for a job, you want them to leave a voicemail so you can be prepared to talk about what they want to talk about, or because I don't
Right.
know who's calling. I've applied to over 30 jobs, maybe around 30, 20, 30 jobs in the past week alone. So I don't know who's calling me about what. So then I can get the email or the voicemail, look it up, get my shit
Right.
together, you know?
Yeah. That's a part of ghosting everyone too, man. Like you gotta here's what my father used to tell me when I was a kid, man, and I think this is really good advice. He said, make yourself scarce. If you're scarce, people always appreciate seeing you, right? Don't always be there for people. Don't always answer their calls, because if you do, then they'll just take advantage of you. They'll walk all over you like a floor mat, like a rug. So keep your words few and far between, and make yourself scarce. Provide scarcity. But that's the individual practitioner, right? Like other people at the NPC level, they're not going to know the basics of magical interaction. I think it's one of the highest principles of human development, evolution, and spiritual cultivation is that we share the wisdom, and the methods that give us greater power.
That is so funny. Yeah, it's not even a job I really wanted or whatever, but it's fine. Um, I
Yeah,
thought it was.
that shows that you value your time and your dignity. And once you do land the job that's good, then put 100% of your effort into it, and make it work. But don't take one until you, or don't stay with one that you don't have to. That's not giving you what you want.
Yeah, jobs are funny.
Yabby yabs.
I was reading this thing on Reddit. Maybe you could speak on this a little bit, but like the job market, I don't even really know if that's a real thing or whatever, because like
Yeah.
it doesn't really make sense unless new jobs are being created or people are dying or retire. You know what I mean? Like how does a like a finan like the financial market kind of makes sense because we can evaluate the value of the dollar or what may have you or a house or even that's why I like sports gambling so much is because I like to evaluate the value on a team and the price they have that team on. But
Okay.
anyway, for like the job market, they were saying like after the election it will get better, but I'm like how like or like why? I don't really. Have you seen that, or is it like just you don't really even notice the difference?
Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that, yeah, that's definitely a thing because towards the end of a presidential cycle, they will exhaust the budget. Like we saw right recently with Hurricane Helena rolled through and destroyed like all of Appalachia, and they're like, we don't have any money. We spent it all already because the fiscal budget for the Biden presidency has run out of money. They've spent it all. They haven't allocated more. So when a new president is coming in and there's a new cycle, he'll have budgetary availability for things to bolster the economy. So tons of money will be being poured in to various projects. So yeah, those are the key times to get ahead of that wave. They do it in cycles, fiscal cycles, and so yeah, the start of a presidential um, term will definitely have higher prosperity, and it'll usually peak around the end of the second year, right? And then they'll start going back into scarcity again. So they cycle through abundance and scarcity.
Yeah, I'm trying to like, and another thing I read was like a lot of people like when the job market is bad like right now a lot
Is
of
it?
people that are overqualified for positions will start applying for those type of positions like entry level positions or what
Yeah.
may have you or whatever, and I was
Well, yeah,
thinking like that makes a lot more sense.
sure. But at the same time, don't count yourself in as among with the rest of the rabble, right? Rise above the common sense decay of mediocrity and
Yeah,
realize that as a magician, you're not going to be affected by the as much by the day-to-day flux, ebb and flow of ordinary individuals, right? Like it says here, um, it's merely expressions of suppressed or unachievable desires. Let me see. However, we cannot at any moment best. Where does he say it? Let me see here. Um, so in that commentary I read a moment ago, that your mind and your behavior play a decisive role in your personal fortune. However, um, accept natural conditions, blah blah blah, burden concept of retributions and guilt. Let me find it for you. The environment reacts to what and how we are forming. As we change, our environment also changes. As it changes, you have to evaluate if the reformation, if it suits you or not. And if it doesn't suit you, then you change. Each individual is responsible for every moment of his or her being. I think the key factor here in the Taoist cosmology is that as you practice your inner mind magic, as it were, then the environment around you should begin to change. Oh no, I lost King of Hell. Hey, yeah, I'm back for a little while. I was doing some Daoist invocations. Good to see you. Um, Frau Schadenfreude, welcome to the chat. That was the Monkey King 666. You're doing your hair, all right, good. Keep that hair looking snazzy. Yeah, so as I was saying,
I'm sorry. I don't know. I think my thing crashed.
did it? Yeah, no worries, man. Shit happens. Yeah, so like as you change, you'll notice that your environment. Like, I'll give you an example. When I came to China in the early days, Chinese people would always ask me. They'd say, why did you leave the States and come over here? Like, isn't the States like the, the kingdom of freedom and heaven and all that? And I tell young people and like college students, I was teaching college students at the time because I was in college, I had a research program. I always said, wherever you go, there you are. Doesn't matter where you go, it's just going to be you. You can't go to some place better necessarily. Like, but as soon as you make yourself better, as soon as you level up, go through some of the gates of initiation, like everything around you changes. I was in, that I spent some time in the rural part of the U.S. in Tennessee, right? I've told you this, right?
Yeah.
And people would go there, like people from my family or something, or people I knew in California, and they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing in Tennessee, man? Like, isn't it terrible? It's rural, everybody are rednecks and stuff like that. And I never felt that way, man. When I went there, it didn't matter where I was because it was me, right? Wherever I go, there I am. Whatever job I've ever had, it's always going to be the great job because it's me, right? Like when I went to Tennessee, man, all of Tennessee was flourishing. There were beautiful plants growing everywhere. There was tons of ganja just growing on the side of the road and honeysuckle. And I was finding ginseng in the woods. And that part of my life, it was a short part, but being in that rural environment was just so beneficial to my soul, man. Like even now, when I'm in the middle of the city and it's just overwhelming and there's a ton of pollution and shit, I can just sit down and astrally travel right back to those old growth woods in Tennessee. There's not a lot of old growth, but there's some big trees, man. There's like 500-year-old oaks and stuff that it would take, 6 or 7 people joining hands to get all the way around. Like there's giant, powerful energy out there. So again, like when I went to Tennessee, lilies would pop up out of the water and beautiful girls would come and want to, hang out with me and stuff. And like it was wonderful. I had a great job with a wonderful family and I made a ton of money and I put myself through college. And so like all my California friends were like, yeah, you're going to the middle of nowhere, the asshole of the world. And I'm like, you guys just don't even get it, man. You don't get it.
A lot of people go there now.
Yeah.
Nashville,
right. The Nashville area is popping, but I was way ahead of the curve, man. Way ahead of the curve. 93, I think, is when I went there. 1993.
Yeah, I've never been there. Is it like in the middle? Like I don't even know where it is.
Yeah, I'll relate to you another situation. Like when I first came to Beijing. When I came to Beijing, I was in like this, like when I got out of my research program and I started working and stuff. I was, the reason LA has gone to shit is because I left Frau Schadenfreude. I'm looking at the chat real quick. But yeah, when I got to Beijing, like I was in this ghetto ass little hood and there was trash everywhere and I had this nasty little apartment. First thing I did, man, was I cleaned up the apartment really good. I set up the feng shui. I set up an altar to Master Liu Dongbing, right? That Tang Dynasty magician that I really admire. And I started doing my magic out in the yard, just going down into the courtyard, doing my kung fu, blasting out the LBRP. By the next year, and I'm picking up the trash. I'd go out every Saturday and clean up the fucking bushes, like pick up trash and put it in a trash bag. And it started becoming more and more beautiful. The trash was removed. The rats there were literally sewer rats running around trying to bite you, There was this one time, this like diseased, nasty ass, like black cat that looked like a fucking monkey jumped out of like this little demon hellcat, man, for real. And I used my Daoist magic and my kung fu. And the next year, the government sent in the landscaping crews and they like They repaved all of the courtyard. They ripped out all the old dying plants and put in all fresh, new, beautiful plants. I don't think this happened within a year. I think it was a couple of years later. But I just kept going into that garden area and imagining that it was more and more beautiful. And the stones were all broken. You know, there were rocks under my feet as I practiced my kung fu. I thought, I don't give a fuck. Sometimes the Chinese guys would come over to me early in the morning and they'd be like, don't practice your kung fu over here. It's dirty. It's dangerous. It's not good on your feet and stuff. And I'd be like,
Mhm.
no. I tell them, no. I said, this environment's going to change to suit me at some point. And it did, man. My magic worked and it all changed. I think they felt shameful too that a foreign guest was having to hang out in those conditions. So like they literally called in like the community people and just like totally redecorated our courtyard. So it never give up, man. You
That's
can change.
interesting.
You can be the change you want to see in the world.
I was watching this podcast, and it's his name is Joey Diaz, if anyone's heard of it. And they're like it was around like 2020, 2019 when the Joker, the first Joker movie came out, and like this guy Joey Diaz, the guy who does the podcast, he's um he's a stand-up comedian and an actor or whatever, but like stand-up comedian like is his main thing. And he was kind of like talking about how um he's a busy guy and an older guy, so but he was talking about how he didn't see the movie but like he understood the concept of it.
Yeah.
um and kind of like the Joker was kind of like he was like, I don't know if you ever seen the movie, but like it was a
Yeah,
guy.
the first Joker.
You've seen the Joker
Yeah.
that came out in 2019 with
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix. um I've seen it and I don't really watch movies at all, but so
Right.
basically, like if for people that haven't seen it, the Joker is about this guy, you know the Joker, but like it's like a spin-off kind of thing. But it's like this
Right.
guy who's kind of like struggling in life,
Yeah.
and he kind of like freaks out and starts killing people because his life sucks so bad, and it's kind of sad. And and yeah, man, like just being in that place of like, like, and this guy Joey Diaz was talking about how like he was in that place a couple times, and this other guy Lee Sayat, who's like or like he's like the co-host, he's a younger guy, and he was
Yeah.
telling the older guy Joey like, yeah, he was like, before, like I never understood like why people did things like that, but now as I get older, I can see how you could get pushed to that point. And
Yeah, the dark night of the soul, man.
yeah, it's just a funny thing. It's just a funny thing.
Strength through suffering. Don't let it break you though. That's the thing, man. You can't go fucking bananas like the Joker. You got to keep your shit together.
Yeah, yeah, that's key.
That's key, man. We're going into winter, man. Winter is the time of withdrawal and contemplation. You should look back on your life, your accomplishments, renounce the commitments that one made earlier. Um, Not because they're bad, but because they're finished and done. Just as the earth becomes still under softly falling snow, so does the wizard warrior become still in contemplation and meditation. Consider what you've done. So, what do you think are some achievements this year? You want to talk about anything? There's something you might have achieved, and as we enter into winter, we're still in autumn, right? I mean, we're at the end of autumn, but we're going into the dark night of the soul once again, right? We resolve to death is coming for us all. The death of the year king, right?
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. Um, yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know what what I don't know. I don't know anymore.
So
I
yeah, what about you? You haven't. Every time I've asked you about like Halloween, man, it's next week. It's next Friday, right? You haven't really like you're not into it, man. There's nothing, not much going on in your town, or you guys just you're not anti Halloween, are you?
No, I'm just really really broke right now, so I'm not doing
Okay. Yeah, you could still do something fun though, man.
kinda. Everything costs money. I mean,
It does, yeah.
it's just the fact of life. This is
It
the one question
is.
I wanted to ask you,
Sure.
and because I'm sure you could relate to this, but and it just man, like it just has me thinking so much about life and the world we live in. But like for example, last night I was listening to this like history thing about Vlad the Impaler,
Okay.
and like Vlad the Impaler, like he just like goes around and it's so confusing, and I'm like trying to research on it, but he was
Right.
like the heir to the throne of Wallachia, but
Oh
like
yeah.
Wallachia was like irrelevant kinda and small compared to like the Ottoman Empire and some
Okay.
other fucking thing.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he had an army, and
Okay.
he had a cat, like he had these things, but he really wasn't official, but he was official. And anyway, it just made me think because I'm like, how is this fucking guy like doing this? Like, okay, he was like born into the heir of the throne, and he kind of had money, and he had like a castle, but it wasn't clear if he built the castle or if he like fucking ransacked it and took over the castle. Like, we don't know. And
All
these are
right.
the questions I'm trying to figure out. And I can't figure them out because it's like all a gray area because history is like fucking bullshit. I don't even know why people would, I don't know, like Jesus and shit. Like, who's to say any of that shit's accurate? Like, I'm trying to like really understand it, and you can't really understand it at all. You know what I mean? And so the whole point that I'm trying to make is like, I was thinking like, because like my boss, like my ex boss said something like kind of disrespectful to me, and I was like kind of shocked by the way he said it because in my mind, it's just so hard to explain. In my mind, and between everybody in their mind, subconsciously, um,
Right.
we are threatened by each other in some ways. In some ways, we're not. And when you're not threatened by someone, you feel like you could take advantage of them.
Right.
And this is just subconsciously, like based on how people look. And based on how I look versus how this dude looks, like I could easily kill him if I wanted to. And sounds crazy, but like it's true. And like these sort of dynamics are pushed into our lives, and then they will be addressed in other ways. Like some people might make comments about my body or my arms, but in reality what they're saying is, you're kind of scaring me right now, or you could probably hurt me right now if you wanted to, but since we're in the society, blah blah blah. And
Yeah,
so
at an instinctual level, they might
at
feel
an
that. That's right.
instinctual level, and I was trying to explain this to some girls at my old job, like, yeah, this is a real thing. Like when me and because I was like really kind of cool with my managers, and we would have these conversations, and they were grown ass men, and I'm a young man, so there's like this kind of dynamic where we get along, and there's like kind of like me and you, like, and it just kind of like flows naturally in its natural order. And so anyway, back to my original point, which is like back. I was thinking like back in the day, like if I wanted to, I could just build an army or be a part of an army and just like start ransacking shit, like, and not like as a savage, but like as a normal person and like
Yeah,
strategically, blah blah
like
blah.
the OG
Exactly,
vampires, the Mongolians,
exactly, exactly,
conquer the
exactly.
world.
And now I was trying to research on like when did we shift from that? Like when did that change happen and why?
Right.
Because now like we're kind of like in the same. It's kind of like the same thing in a different context. It's kind of like the age of Aquarius, kind of like what they're talking about. Like this whole
Hmm.
physical thing is going out, and now we're entering something else. Like no more physical, like something else. So anyway, and so I was thinking, like, you know, like finding our path and doing this thing and like doing this life thing. And then you see people on like Instagram and YouTube and social media, and like they just sit in the house all day and their house is
Yeah.
beautiful and they get all this money or like whatever it is. And it really makes you think like, is this even real? Like, this is like obviously fake or bullshit or
Yeah, I baffle at the amount of time some people can run these live streams. Like, I was on Flow State for a while, and he did like 10 hours last night. He was up again this morning doing another 10 hours, and I'm like, damn, man, he's online 24/7, terminally online is what they
but
call it.
not even those people, Frank, even like
Right.
Snapchat. Like these
Okay.
people will spend a minuscule amount of time online. However, they're
Okay.
super successful or they're beautiful or they're super successful and beautiful and they come from a lot of money and they have like the and I'm like, what the fuck?
Kardashians type folks, right?
It's but and then but you have to understand there's levels to it and then there's communities within these levels that go
Right.
beyond. It's crazy. It's fucking nuts. And
Well,
like
yeah, you got to
people.
remember, like a lot of that's old money too. They're getting direct funding. They've just got hundreds of
Mhm.
millions in the
Mhm.
bank in some of these families, and even the interest on a single day can like finance a bunch of fucking people.
And then there's
So
this correlation between successful people that come from successful families or that are beautiful and blah blah blah. And it's just crazy how um how
Illuminati blood, Illuminati bloodlines.
exact but it's not even just that. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but like these people, it's just they have so much money and they don't really work. I was like, if I was in that
Mm,
position, I'd be. And then there's some people that are that do work, and like you could see, like they're super successful. You
yeah,
know, it's very it's crazy to me, and it's like people don't understand. Like we are the ones fueling this type of shit. Like the regular people that go to regular jobs, regular life, blah blah blah, have no money, paycheck to paycheck, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like that whole idea. And it's like we are the ones fueling the lives of these other people. It's like magic,
yeah.
right?
They're using high level magic. There was
It's
a really powerful spell cast in 1776 by some of the most elite Freemasons. Right, they were at the Green Dragon Tavern in Boston, and they launched this manifest destiny. They called it. Right, and I'm just now learning about, like, remember I was sharing with you the magia sexualis of Randolph, of P. Beverly Randolph, that guy.
hmm
And he was like right with that whole flow, man. He was like friends with Abraham Lincoln and these guys, the Hermetic Brotherhood of Luxor. In
exactly.
fact, right after I started talking and reading about that, I listened to another Rudolf Steiner lecture, and he was talking about the Brotherhood of the Golden Triangle. Have you heard of these guys?
No, no.
Yeah, they've got some magic, man. It's eventually what became the Ku Klux Klan. But yeah,
Exactly. And that's what I'm
those
saying.
Confederate families, like,
Everything that I'm talking about, everything I was just ranting about, it's an idea that has been understood by men before me. Like
right.
and now I'm in a position and like I'm having like similar ideas. Like it's funny you said that because like I that's like the idea. Like you need to start some group or something. Like some group or brotherhood or something needs to be
Yeah, I've,
started.
I've got this. I've got this quote on my doorway from the Hermetic Brotherhood of Luxor, and it says that I put it on my door, that when I leave my dormitory, my room here, every time I go out, I read it. And I can't remember exactly what it says right now, but it says that as you go out, imagine yourself to be generating an aura of powerful charisma, mystery, and then work on establishing your own your own cults of folks that interact with that
Exactly.
energy. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. But like, and there's different levels to it. Like, there's a physical level, a social level, a religious, and a spiritual level, you know? And
Yeah.
like, they can all translate and be powerful at the same time. Like, you can have, because like, to do something like that, you need like a building or like a place to gather, and you need money and funds and people that are powerful. So like,
Right.
this whole idea, it's a difficult thing to manage because at the end of the day, the whole point of like me saying that is because like recently I've been having these thoughts like, what am I doing? Like, I need to do something better. Like, I need
Yeah.
to do something more like than just this regular shit, because this regular shit isn't gonna do it for me. Like, on a personal level, like I could do it like physically and mentally. Like, I'm more than capable than doing these things. I could be better than these people that are doing these things, but it's like not for me. Like, it's not
Okay.
enough. I don't know.
Yeah. DeFreak is in the house. Hey there, DeFreak. Good to see you. Frau Schadenfreude says, people don't believe they do ritual stuff, but they do. Oh, yeah, you're always engaged in ritual practice. And then, in response to what you were saying a moment ago, King of Heaven, Frau Schadenfreude says that it would be nice, but they're a solitary, quiet type. And I would say to you that if you're solitary and quiet, that's okay too. Like you can generate these things on the astral level and within your own sphere of direct control, right? So very,
Yeah,
very
one
worthwhile.
thing that I wanted to piggyback off what you said, and like, I used to do this thing where like I would be a busser and I would imagine my aura was like gigantic, like it was the size of like a country. Like like I would emit this light, and it would be like a dark light and purple, like dark and purple and orange though. And then I would emit this light like in my mind, like I'm imagining it in my mind
Yeah.
as I walked around. And I would also like imagine like these long snake black dragons that would fly around me and shit. And it
Oh
sounds
yeah, that's
crazy.
good magic. No, it's not at all. I remember I was in a difficult place one time struggling. I think I was about 19, and I used to craft these like shuriken, like these mental daggers, and I would go through the entire process visually in my mind to mine the ore and then bring the ore into like a blacksmith's furnace and fire it and hammer it and then forge it and put sigils on it and then launch them at people that I thought needed to pay, for fucking disrespecting me and doing hardcore shit to me and making my life a hard time. Here's the craziest thing, man. I did this for like 3 years solid. And when I would use one of those mental daggers and shoot it at someone, like bad shit happened to people, bro. I people like folks that yeah, people died, man. People disappeared. I shut down businesses and stuff. It was pretty powerful magic.
It's funny because like what the lady was saying before, like where people think they do rituals or shit, whatever. Like,
Right,
I'm a very, like, I don't know, I'm a very sensitive person or subtle person. So when someone makes a subtle action, I pick up on it right away and I make a conscious, because what they're doing is subtle and subconscious. What I'm doing is
right.
purposely trying to be so it's like not, so it's like addressing, it's different, and it's sort of similar to what that lady was saying and what you're saying. I don't really have, this sounds horrible, but I don't, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. But I
Yeah,
do wish death on people in life. I do. Some people just,
yeah.
there's
Black
just
in
some
Daoist magic, we call those black energy rays, and Master Nee always told me, he said, be very careful of those because when he met me, he knew that I had done it a few times. But I'll tell you about one that happened when I was here in Beijing. There was this one barber shop, and sometimes the guy would like drink, and I didn't really realize it at first, but he like he treated me kind of bad, but it was the only barber shop like that I could go to and get a haircut. And so I went in there. I try to go in every couple of weeks. You know, I like to keep my hair high and tight, looking sharp, because it's a part of my persona for my professional career. But one time I went in there and the motherfucker cut me with his scissors, and I looked at his scissors after he cut me, and they were like filthy dirty, and I felt that as like a direct attack on me. He cut my ear, and he laughed and he said, I cut you, didn't I? And I looked at him and I saw nothing but pure evil, man. And he had these filthy, dirty scissors that he cut me with. And I thought, man, there's a possibility that he could fucking give me hepatitis or a staph infection or something and actually murder me. And I grabbed my ear and I left immediately. And like I held my ear to stop it from bleeding, but my ear fucking bled for like 3 days, man. And after that, I felt like really weak and sick and stuff. And it legitimately took me like 2 weeks to recover from that. And I didn't think about anything but healing at that time. But after I recovered and I thought about that motherfucker again and I saw his laughing evil face and his filthy scissors, I shot a mental dagger down at his business and imagined it going straight through his head and him falling on the floor, and bleeding out. But I just did it visually, but I did it with such passion and intent. Within by the end of the month, his business had been closed. I don't know why.
That's crazy.
Don't care. Yeah, he
I'm
had to
sorry that happened to you, man.
he shuttered up and he left, man, and he was gone, and I never saw him again. So I don't know if I accidentally did murder him with magic, but and it doesn't really matter. I mean, the multi-model approach, you could say it's coincidence, it's synchronicity, it's this, that, or the other thing. But yeah, that was a really brutal experience in my life, man. Like having a good barber is so important. Like, if you're in a line of work where you have to rely on image, because it's a part of your magical persona. I have a really good barber now, though. I love this motherfucker, and he always treats me really good and gives me a great haircut.
That's crazy. If someone did that to me, I probably would physically harm them, so they wouldn't do that to me. I try to just be cool with people. But I do make it clear that, if you do that, then, or do be disrespectful, that we can take it to that level. I know it's not right, but
it's one of the only times I've really seriously intended to use really dark energy rays at someone. There was another time I was doing comedy, like you were just talking about the Joker, and I did an entire stint, I think from 2009 to maybe 2013 before I started Lunar Light Entertainment. And I did stand-up comedy, and a lot of motherfuckers in comedy want to attack you from behind. And there was this one guy that they were all brand new on the scene. Like all the old comedians had pretty much disappeared. And there was this whole new generation of people coming over from America that were very, very PC culture and had a lot of new lingo. They were a generation younger than all of us older stand-ups. And they were very threatened by our stand-up scene and our personas and stuff. And they tried to kind of take it over. And, there was this one guy that was kind of like a bull looking dude. Like he was probably 220 pounds, but only maybe 5'3", 5'3". He was built like a barrel, right? And for some reason, that motherfucker hated me, and he was constantly mad dogging me and sending negative energy rays at me. But then at the same time, trying to act really boisterous and friendly to me to my face. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there was this one time I was out in the green room. We had an area behind the stage where the comedians could hang out and bullshit before their time on stage, right? And I was out there and I was alone, and I was looking at my book. I kept a little book that I would write my jokes in and try to memorize them, right? And try to visualize what I was going to do on stage and stuff. And I was back there and I was looking at my book and I was memorizing my shit, and it had just rained really hard. So there was this huge mud puddle behind me. And that motherfucker comes out and I think he's like half drunk or on drugs or something, and he's like,
Mm.
"Fuck you." Yeah, he's like, "Fuck you, Frank Monday, motherfucker, I hate you." And he like took a swing at me, like out of nowhere, right? This big old meaty arm, big old meaty fist too. And I dodged out of the way of his punch, right? And then he like, and I jumped back, and I had good footing, even though like there was fucking probably 2 inches of mud on the ground. And then he like just charges at me and like bull rushes me and goes in for like a giant tackle, like a shoot fighting tackle. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
let me, I'm gonna kill your mic for just a second because I've got echo coming in. But anyway, like as he flew at me, I did like an Aikido sidestep, and I just kind of nudged him just a little bit, and his entire weight, like everything, just went right past me, and he went flying like probably 3, 4, 5 feet through the air and landed face first in the mud and just slid through the mud and then like slammed against the wall. He just totally missed me, and it was the most beautiful, amazing, funny thing I had ever seen. And he was wearing yellow shorts and a white shirt, and he had this giant mud streak down his body. But as he flew past me, I actually grabbed onto his shirt. And like, I mean, it's 200 plus pounds of weight flying at you at high speed. And I grabbed him and he pulled me along. And as he slid through the mud, I landed on top of him with like one hand on his throat and my fist raised up. And the whole thing just played out so beautifully, man, like in slow motion in my mind. And I yelled in his face. I said, "What the fuck do you think you're doing, man? You're going to attack a kung fu master?" And I just laughed at him. Then I jumped up. I said, "You ever do that again, I'm gonna whip your ass." And then and then it was my set like right after that, so I had to like go back up on stage. And the crazy fucking thing was he was hosting the show that night, so he had to come on stage right after I had finished my set. And I made a joke about him. And no, I don't, I think I just did my set, I didn't even say anything about him. But he had to walk up on stage covered in fucking mud, just humiliated. And he said, "Yeah, I was out, you guys see all this mud?" He was like, "Yeah, I was out in the back fucking with Frank Monday." And Frank Monday, he said something stupid, like I tripped him in the mud or something. And I was like, what a fucking liar, man. What a just an absolute piece of shit. But yeah, I'll turn your mic back on. I uh, I was getting some feedback off your mic,
Now you're
but that
good.
was,
A plane was
yeah,
going by.
that was crazy fun, man. After I've been doing kung fu since I was a kid, man, and so much of it's like become second nature that there's a couple of other instances where I've been in a fight and time does slow down, man. It becomes apotheum, like time dilation. And I was fighting with this one cat this one time, and he was trying his damnedest to hit me, and it was just like the Matrix. I was just dancing around him and pushing punches out of the way and stuff. And I remember there was one point where like I was taunting him and teasing him, and I put myself right in front of a brick wall, like my head, and I just stuck it out there for him to take a swing at me. And then I moved my head out of the wall and just touched his arm so that his fist was directed right at solid concrete, and he broke his fucking fist. And I thought, oh, this is so classic, so funny. But yeah, but again, like I was never a really good fighter when I was a kid, and I got my ass kicked all the time. But because I've been practicing kung fu for so long, like it's you have to be on a level, like you have to have done as much kung fu and been in as many fights as me to have that same kind of dancing capacity. Plus I'm a dance teacher. You know, Bruce Lee was a dance teacher as well. Do you know that Bruce Lee was like a top salsa dancer in Hong Kong?
No, I didn't know that. Of course not.
Yeah, dancing really helps you integrate your martial arts. um anyway,
Yeah,
good
man.
fun, good fun.
It's funny. I used to play soccer my whole life, and as we got older, like the kids would like get into confrontations or whatever.
Yeah,
And it was funny because like every time like we come back from halftime, they'd be like, "Yo, this kid's grabbing me. This kid's saying this. He's calling me a faggot." And I'm like, oh, that's funny because no one's done anything or said a word on my side. And I think it's because of me. I don't think it's because I think it was because people were intimidated by me a little bit. And I just want to say, like, that's a good self-defense to have up, I guess, to avoid bullshit like that. Because
Okay.
I don't really experience. I just think people know that, like, because like maybe for example that guy tested you because he thought Frank isn't gonna do anything, blah, blah or whatever he thought.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm a
But like,
super nice guy, man, and I always come off like that. Like I'm
yep,
always
yep.
kind and gentle with people and shit.
But with me, people are like, all right, wait a minute, this kid might, I
Right.
might turn this into an event.
Yeah,
I
because
might turn this.
you're a big kid, right? You're like fairly big, like you're 6 foot
Uh,
plus and 200 pounds,
no,
right?
no, no,
No.
no, 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 no. I'm not 6 foot. I'm a shorter guy, but I am a bigger guy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I'm in better shape than the average guy. It's hard to say. I'm a
Yeah.
little, I'm a little on the fat side right now. Yeah, I'm not fat, but to my
Okay.
standards, I'm fat, and not
Hey, just
sad. But
real quick, I wanted to say to Frau Schadenfreuder said that they had an amazing swing partner, but had to move before we started Lindy hopping and whatnot. Yeah, if you look back on my channel, some of my original videos were called Monday Night Swing Review. And so I taught a swing dance class here in China for like 5 or 6 years until right before the coup took us all into lockdown. But yeah, I really like Lindy hopping, and I organized a couple of performances, and I was on a couple of performances. In fact, one time we performed a whole swing troupe. I was on like a top notch swing dance troupe, and we performed for Heineken and we performed for Mercedes. And my teacher, Adam, what was his name? Adam Lee. He was actually on international television for being a swing dancer here in Beijing. Oh, and the craziest fucking thing is he started Swing Beijing during the first COVID, during SARS Corona 1 in 2003. So that's when I started studying it. Yeah, so I love swing dance, man. It's really good fun. But go ahead, King of Heaven. What did you want to say?
I forget what I was saying. But yeah, I'm a little. Yeah, I'm a bit. I don't
Yeah,
know,
we were
man.
talking about your
It's
martial prowess in reference to other people,
yeah,
right?
I was gonna say like it's hard to decipher who I am from my perspective and how people perceive me. Because in reality, I really don't know. I can just only go off my experiences. And but to answer your question, I am bigger than most people. Yeah, I could probably hurt most people,
Yeah.
but not all. Like there's a lot of dudes out there that are way bigger. I mean, I'm a young kids too. That's another part of it. Like a lot of grown men are like bigger than me. It's hard to explain how like why and how, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm strong. I train every day and I'm in shape. I do every day.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I had a pretty unusual opportunity because my older brother he did some golden gloves and he did full contact sparring in Chinese Quoshu. And so he was in the full contact class at our Kung Fu school. And he was 6'2" and like 190 pounds when he was doing his training. And I focused more on like massage and bone setting. So, like my brother, every day he would make me give him like a 45-minute full body massage along with like bone setting and stuff, or not like every day but like 3 times a week or something. I had, and especially after full contact training, so I would have to like work on this 6 foot 200 pound muscle man. Like I could show you a picture of my brother. He looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was 16. He was really a powerful fighter. And like I trained with him all the time when I was young, and he would just beat my ass. He would never, like, he wouldn't hit me at full strength, obviously, but he wouldn't let me off easy either. Like he would make me fight and learn to fight. So I learned like all of the acupuncture points. I learned how to do bone manipulation, bone setting, and all on a guy that's 6'2" and 220 and a really high powered fighter. So I ended up getting in a few fights with really big guys, and a couple times I got my ass kicked. But it gave me the fighter's mentality that like no matter how big and bad a dude is, I know that I can probably at least either hold my own or maybe get killed in the process. But I have a much better, because I'm only 5'10", 150 pounds, right? But I have a much better chance than your average monkey. when it comes to a little bit of combat.
Yeah, that's how I describe it as well. I'm not a trained fighter or anything. I was I was going down that path when I was younger because I did
Yeah.
like karate.
Okay.
And for some reason, I was really young though. I was in like elementary school. And for some reason, I was like really good. Because we would only do like form and shit, but I wanted to fight like straight up. I was ready to fight like off of being a white belt. Like I didn't give a fuck. And but they wouldn't let me. But I remember asking like, "Yo, let me do that." And they're like, "Nah, you gotta wait for your yellow belt." And like, dude, like you had to like come in on the weekends to get like your belt, and like my parents were drug addicts. Like they weren't gonna do that. But anyway, I placed in this tournament, like my first tournament for form, and I got second place. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Like
Nice. Yeah.
I was like, "This
Oh,
is easy." So
yeah, I
yeah,
got my ass kicked by a Taekwondo kid one time, man. I thought I was a badass like when I was early 20s, and I went into a Taekwondo competition and I tried to use kung fu, and like this 16-year-old fucking kicked my ass, man. So yeah, you can't. Sometimes you not every stone is unturned because they kick fast. And I did Taekwondo for like maybe 3 years.
another thing about it is for me, like if someone wants to fight, I don't really look at it as a violent, aggressive thing. I kind of look
Right.
at it as a game. Like this is fun. Like because in reality, I know I probably won't get hurt. Like you can get hurt, and you might get
Sure,
hurt,
sure. You
but
always have
like
to be careful.
you have to be careful. But like for me, I'm like I could probably hurt this guy more than he could hurt me.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali said it best. He said, if you ever think you're going to get hit in the face, you're going to get hit in the face. So he was big on like your mental game set. You need to go in there thinking, I'm not going to let this guy hit me. I'm going to hit him. I'm going to hit him. I'm going to hit him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember this one time I was like, if you ever worked in a restaurant, it's
Yeah, I
great
have. Yeah.
because there's so much energies
Yeah,
and
I've done
there's
front of the house, back of the house.
so much
I've,
energy and
I've
like
done
so many
management.
management. Okay, so like then there's
I've
like
done all three. Yeah.
girls that will like you and they'll be like, let's hang out, shit like that.
Right. That
And
happens a lot
it
with
happens a
management.
lot. And then like other people will get jealous. Like people get jealous of me all the time. And
Sure.
um, this one time, I think it was like my first time. I had like four plates in my hand, like four
Right.
very small dishes in my hand, two in each hand. It looked like I was about to drop it. It looked like I kind of had it, but like I had it.
Okay.
And this one guy is like, he's like, "Yo, do you want me to help you?" I'm like, "Nah, I got it. You know, it's my
Yeah.
table. I got it."
Right.
He's like, "Oh, now I hope you drop it."
You fucker.
And I was like, "Bro, I'm gonna drop you if you don't watch your fucking mouth."
Yeah.
Like my manager, who's like really dope, he like and funny and like we're really cool. He got quiet, and then I went
Yeah.
back in the kitchen. And I was like, "You heard what I said, right, Drew?" Like fucking around because I think it's funny, like confrontational, I shit like that. I think it's funny, and yeah, man, I don't know, like that just goes into energy and just like it's a spiritual thing too, you know. All these
It
things
is, yeah.
are
There's a lot of
spiritual.
spiritual, absolutely, a lot of spiritual elements involved. I've always noticed, like, if I'm ever in the wrong, like if I'm running my mouth or I'm doing something that's out of the way of the Tao, I usually get my ass kicked. But if I'm in the right, like, and I'm just protecting myself, or I'm engaged in, serious cultivation of the spirit of Tao, then I'll always win. This guy right here says, "You communist," and I think his grammar's a little bad there, but at least he's got good punctuation, right? I think he's trying to ask if I'm communist. Do you think that's what he's trying to say?
He's funny. He goes, "I've never lost 1 versus 1, but I usually get sunker punched by two or more dudes in my most fight." Let me say a couple of things.
Okay, yeah,
That's
get
not
at it.
really funny because if you ever actually been punched while you weren't looking, it's very traumatic. And
Right.
I don't want to be that little pussy guy, but it's true. And I've been I've been punched in the back of my head when I wasn't looking, and it really bothers me when people stand behind me.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a guy. It really, really, really bothers me. and it makes me
Yeah,
very uncomfortable.
as a warrior, you
Um,
got to strategically locate yourself so that your back's covered by a wall or a
yeah,
corner or
and
something
you
like
know
that.
what, bro? Like, we shouldn't live like people shouldn't have to think like that. Like, what the
Right.
like people like there's something I don't know, man. I guess I'm just different,
Sometimes you
because
do, man. I was at a swing dance event one time, and this Chinese guy, really fucking disliked me because I run my own swing dance class, and I charge money, and I'm the leader, and all the girls look up to me and stuff. And that's why I did it because my teacher went back to the U.S., and I'm like, I'm not going to pay somebody else to teach me swing dance. I already studied for like 6 years. I'm going to just start teaching it myself. And
Mhm.
this one Chinese guy tried to lead me out, and he was a different guy. There were two of them working together, and one of them invited me out to go outside in like the hallway and have a smoke. And I'm like, I felt like some spiritually negative energy coming off this guy, but I did it anyway. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, oh yeah, I really want to talk to you. Let's go have a smoke. I'll give you a smoke, blah blah blah. And so we go out there, and he keeps trying to like maneuver to position me so that my back is facing like this darkened hallway, right? And I'm like, what the fuck's this guy doing? Because he keeps like shifting and trying to push me in the direction. And the whole time I have like this one solid concrete wall behind me. But the whole time he's trying to shift me so that my back will be facing this darkened like hallway. And so suddenly, like a spirit grabbed me and I jumped around into the dark hallway. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I looked in there, and there was that other Chinese dude, the guy that really hates me. And he had like one of those bike locks that's like a U style bar with like a handle that locks into it. And he's got that thing, and he's got it raised up, and he's about to swing it and hit me in the back of the head, man. And I figured it out like in a split second because I saw it in his fucking eyes. And yeah, those guys were trying to fucking knock me out, maybe trying to kill me. I mean, if you hit someone in the back of the head with a bike lock like that, that would have been fucked up. I didn't engage them though. I just immediately just got out of there. I'm like, I'm not gonna fight these guys. But I prevented an attack on my own life, man, and it was really valuable, and it was a spiritual thing too. Like I felt the spirit guiding me and protecting me. That's why the pentagram ritual is so useful, man. When I do the pentagram ritual, the four quadrants are guarded by the archangels, and they will, man. They'll step in and save your life sometimes, if necessary. And I hated that those dicks were like that too. They're just so fucking jealous. And the whole thing is like their leader, his name was, I don't need to say his name, but he ended up starting his own club, and he did huge events, and like they were all really prosperous, but still they wanted to take me out just because I got this little bitty tiny swing outfit. Maybe I think the biggest my class ever got was about 50 people, but their classes would get as big as like 200 people. But yeah.
It's funny if you think about the psychology of a person who does that.
Right.
It's just they're scared of you, so they try to get you in a weak position where they know it's just pathetic. It's pathetic. It's because this kid punched me in the back of my head, and
What was the situation? How did it line up? Like, how did he get behind you and shit? Like, what was going on?
it's a long story. I'll just say this:
Yeah. So
it's
he took a swing,
funny.
and he hit you. Did he knock you out, or did anything?
No, he didn't even hurt. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you're in a position where you yourself are vulnerable.
Right.
Like, you as a person, it doesn't matter if you're in front or behind, backside, right? You as a person, you're vulnerable. So, like, I'm just saying, like, when you hit someone when they're not looking, your purpose is to hurt them as much as possible in a position where they're most vulnerable, because any other situation, you would not be able to do this. So you're taking most of your opportunity to do that. So when you do that, and then you completely fail at what you were trying to do, which was
Right.
hurt me, like what is like then what are we doing? So then it's
Right.
funny because later on this kid tried to, and listen, I really spared this fucking kid. Um, at the time, like I said, I just got off a court case. I just got my case dismissed in a
Right.
in a it wasn't a municipal court. What's the one above that?
Um,
Superior court, bro.
yeah.
A lot of
Criminal
you
court? I
never,
don't know.
ever, ever, ever had to defend yourself in a superior court.
Yeah, no,
Okay?
never.
The day you do, talk to me because what I went through wasn't even that serious and it's fucking sucked.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, like, I just got off of that. I'm not trying to deal with the police. I fucking hate the cops. They know me. The cops in my town know me very well. Um, but anyway, this kid punched me in the back of my head, and then later on, like months down the road, he says, it's funny because he says, "Oh, if someone ever punched me like that, I would have fucked them up." And this was in a group chat over text. I go, "John, I have your location right now. I'll come to your job right now and fuck you up." Like on some schizo shit.
Yeah,
And it's like, you get what I'm saying? Like these people, like they try to take
yeah.
advantage, like in any way possible. It's crazy. It's
Would
just
like
fucking crazy.
the grandmaster of Dao one time, he told me that there's a lot of people out there, and this is why sometimes concealment magic can be so important, because he said, you imagine these people, they're like a vulture, right? They're like and they've got a dirty little rotten rat, and they're holding on to this decaying corpse of a rat, and they're chewing away on it, and it's their sustenance. It's rotting, it's stinky, it's moldy, and it's been dead for days, but this vulture's down there and he's eating it, and you fly over and you're like an eagle up on the loftiest winds of heaven, and you only land on like the highest trees, and you only drink from like the purest mountain streams, and you hunt like big game and shit because you're a big powerful eagle, and you're flying over, and the vulture down there with its dead rotting corpse of a rat sees your shadow and looks up with an eye and screeches at you like, ah, this is my fucking rat, and you're just looking down at it like, what the fuck, man? I don't want your stupid, filthy, rotting corpse of a rat. I'm a fucking eagle, baby. What's up? Yeah, so that's what those inferior people are like, man. You can't
I'm
sweat them.
sorry, I got another phone call. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, do your thing, man.
No, it's good.
Uh,
I let it go to voicemail. It was about
okay.
another job I really don't want. But go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm done, man. You don't. That's it. It's a spiritual story. It doesn't take long. You don't want their filthy rat, but they think you do. They're extremely
Yeah, that's rude.
covetous. They're covetous of their filthy, dirty, rotten position, and they think that you want to take it, but they don't realize, man, you're a real person. You're a superior being. You're not interested in their filthy little rat hole.
So yeah, it's funny because there's this baseball player on the Phillies. His name is Bryce Harper.
Okay.
And during the regular season, like something happened where the benches came out. I love baseball, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
Um, it's like my second or third favorite sport to
Okay.
watch because I like
Yeah, absolutely.
basketball a lot too.
Okay.
But anyway, like the players like came out of the bench or something, and like Bryce Harper like was gonna fight or some, and like Bryce Harper's like the star of the Phillies. He's like the Jesus Christ of the Philadelphia Phillies. Like as soon as he came from Washington, he was the fucking, like things turned around. They went to the World Series 2 years ago. They went to the conference finals. They made the 1 seed this year. So anyway, point of the story. The benches come out, and he's like the star. He's like the Jesus, and he was about to fucking clock this dude, but his back was turned. So he stopped. And
Hmm.
then he started like talking about it after, and he was like, yeah, I was gonna hit him, but like his back was turned. That's just not right. And I was like, and I hate the Philadelphia Phillies, but I
Do
was like,
you?
Bryce
No.
Harper, I fuck with him for that because that's some real man shit. Like, I just respected that. And like, no one's like, like, people aren't like that anymore. And to just
Right.
do that in that moment, to be that guy on that team, it was just dope to me. I just thought that was dope.
Yeah, that is. That's very good, man. I'm gonna pop a little invocation in the chat box for you. The Jutian Jianxie Hu Zheng Xuan Nu, or the Dark Lady of the Nine Heavens who slays evil and protects the righteous. Yeah, you write those characters on a sheet of paper, man, and you can summon her. Summoning of the
Just those
spirit.
characters or the ones next to him is in English.
Well, the
Like,
English ones are how you say it, the Jiu Tian Jianxie Hu Zheng Xuan Nu. But the Chinese characters, like if you've never written Chinese characters before, like give it a shot at it. Um, it has an other, like it has a sigil type quality. So each individual character, right? Like they're character by character. The Nine Heaven, Jianxie, Lady of the Nine Heavens, who slays evil. Jianxie is to kill
and wait,
evil.
Frank, can you write them?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Like you
I've
can
been,
write them, I'm saying.
yeah, 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 yeah. I write. I can read and write in Chinese with my hand. I don't like without a computer. I can do it. Um,
How do you do that? Like, how did you learn that?
Nowadays, I mean, there's all kinds of computer technology to aid you in learning, and it's much easier today than it was when I started like 30 years ago. Just practice, just over and over and over again
I
from your
don't know
basics.
why, but I'm really bad at learning other languages. Like it's hard. Like
Yeah.
I only really know Spanish.
I took 6 years of Chinese at college, and then I took another 3 years when I came to China. So I have like a total of 9 years studies in the Chinese language.
Yeah.
Plus, I've been living here for 20 plus years now. So yeah.
And do you ever dream in Chinese?
I do. Like when I first started studying, I dreamed a lot. Like I dreamed that I was totally fluent in it. The
And isn't
first,
it fucking annoying though?
no, it was fun. It was fun because I could totally. But I wake up, I couldn't even speak Chinese at the time. But I knew that I was seeing the future, and I knew that I would one day be able to. Oh,
Like,
the really crazy thing when I did swing dance, there were a lot of Russians in the swing dance class, and I started having lucid dreams of hanging out with this one particular girl. Her name was. Let me see if I can remember her name. Anyway, I forgot. Maybe it'll come to me later. But I would always go into like these bar rooms, like these jazz bar rooms in my dreams, and I would throw back like these red satin curtains, and they would be in there, a bunch of Russians like having conversations, and I would jump right in and start speaking fluent Russian with them. And then I would wake up like in the dream. I'd realize I was lucid dreaming, and I'd suddenly realize that I couldn't even speak Russian. And I would say something to that girl, can't remember her name, but I'd say I can't speak Russian, and she said you were just speaking perfect Russian for like the last 30 minutes or whatever, and I was like, what the fuck? So the subconscious mind can speak any language instinctively, and here's another thing: even if I speak Chinese to you, your critical factor, like your conscious attention, can't understand it, but your subconscious mind can. The subconscious is far more powerful than we know. So yeah, it's interesting.
yeah, because I was speaking another language one time in my dream, and I was like, this is fucking annoying because, like, I don't know what's going on. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, you'll
yeah.
you'll you'll start to the greater you get in your magic power, like traveling on the astral and lucid dreaming and stuff, it all becomes pretty fun. Also, the angelic language isn't the same as like English, right? It's for example, Enochian, the one that was discovered by Dr. John
John D.
Dee and Edward Kelly. Yeah, that's a legit thing.
Yeah,
Angels
I
can
never really
trans
understood that. Like, what is that?
Enochian. Well, they were scrying in the spirit vision, so they could dream lucidly. They sometimes use a dark mirror, but they were directly communicating with angelic beings who taught them that language. Now, and it can vary, like because according to what I understand through various forms of teachings, is that for the most part in the spirit realm, they don't use written languages, and actually they're very interested in it. And so when people like write things by hand or do calligraphy, like let's see here, Frau Schadenfreuder says that he or she, I guess. So it should be air Schadenfreude. Air Freude says she used to love to do calligraphy. But here's the thing: spiritual beings will gather all around you when you slowly write and focus on doing calligraphy and stuff. They love to watch it and they love to interact with it. But yeah, I haven't done the magic, Enochian magic, and the opening by the watchtowers. That's something that's kind of beyond my ken. I'm more of a neophyte than that, and I just never had much interest in it. So I don't know that much about it, to be honest with you, King of Heaven.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm sorry. I keep getting these calls for these jobs while I'm on the phone with you, but I don't care. And also, can you hear me? The Enochian magic.
Yeah, I can hear you. You better shake a leg and do your job stuff if you need to, man.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I need
Okay.
money like right now, not like month from now. That's why I hate these like corporations that have all this fucking money to spend. They don't spend it on their employees. Like they want me to wait
Okay. Yeah.
2, 3, 4 weeks for a paycheck. It's like, dude, what am I supposed to do between that time? I don't have any money. You know. Anyway,
Yeah.
the
No
Enochian
worries.
magic. I always thought that was it had something to do with like astral traveling to the Kalipov. Is that like
Yeah, it
doing
does.
the
Here.
spheres? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Here's one of the fascinating things that I discovered, man. Like, I don't
Not
know
the
how much I should.
Kalipoth. I'm sorry, the Kabbalah for people that are listening.
Yeah. Yeah. The clip off the dark tree of life under the
Yeah, I
um
meant the Kabbalah. The you could do it with the Kalipoth too, but I think with that
the
might be
Kabbalah.
something
Yeah.
different. I don't know. I don't
No.
know. I
No. No.
don't
No. Yeah.
know.
You're right.
But what
They.
about the one? Well, real quick, the one
Yeah.
where
Go
they
ahead.
start making a story and it's about like you go into a cave and you see this and blah blah blah. Like, isn't
Right.
that
Right.
Enochian magic or no?
Um, could
No,
be
or
somehow.
is it
Yeah, no,
something else?
I don't know. Again, I haven't really studied that much of it. It never sparked interest in me that I sought to pursue it because, and again, I'll tell you why. Because I studied Chinese and I was learning Daoist magic, and so Chinese incantations. Here's what I've discovered: the Proto Hebrew language is actually very rudimentary Chinese characters, but there's only 22 of them. So when the mind of the world split, and you have the Eastern mind, which is mostly representative of pure Chinese original Hanzi, their character system, and then the Western mind, which developed alphabets from that. There's when you compare the two, like the Western style is actually it has its own very beneficial attributes, but it doesn't have its like pure origin rooted in ancient history like the oracle bones do. So if you look at the 22 characters of the Proto Hebrew language that are precursors to how Hebrew is written now today, that's actually so far like rudimentary, like kindergarten level when you compare it to the Chinese hieroglyphs of that same time. But somehow theirs is actually derivative of Chinese. Now, most scholars won't support this, and historical evidence doesn't support it either. But I've studied what are called pictographs. They're the ancient characters of the Shang dynasty. So they date to about 5,000 years ago. And I've found that all of the Hebrew characters are actually included in the canon of ancient Chinese characters. But the ancient Chinese characters have tens of thousands, whereas the Hebrew only has 22. Anyway, the reason I didn't study those other sigil systems is because the Chinese ones are so comprehensive that I didn't feel like I was going to direct source if I study those intermediary ones. And I invested so much time into learning the articulation of the Chinese language and committing the character system to memory and being able to read it that I just didn't feel like I wanted to deviate and spend any time on any of the others because they feel like lesser systems to me, just to be honest. But I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. I'm just saying they feel like they're afterthoughts.
All right. So what about pathway magic?
Yeah, I do that. I do path working.
Path working. That's what it is.
Right. So that's traveling between the spheres in the astral realm. So if you notice, like when you leave the sphere of Malkuth, right, the prime material plane, what is the next sphere?
Hepsa.
If you can recall.
Malkuth. And is it with an E?
Yeah, Yesod, Yesod.
Yesod. Okay.
Right. So
Malkuth is
Yesod,
the lowest one, right?
yeah. Malkuth is the square, right? It's got the X on it, the different colors, red, green, yellow, and black.
Okay.
Gold. It's red. It's red, gold, and green, right? With black at the bottom. Do you remember who is the guy that comma chameleon? You come and go. The Culture Club. You come and
The
go.
Culture Club. That might be
Yeah,
before my time.
it's some old school 1980s MTV stuff. Anyway,
Oh,
he always
Culture
sang.
Club. Culture
He,
Club.
he always sung red, gold, and green. I think he was talking about the flag of the Jamaican people. But
Boy
those are the
George.
primary.
Boy George.
Boy George, that's right. But anyway, after you leave Malkuth, you go up the path of Saturn, right? If you go straight up the middle pillar, and that leads to Yesod. Yesod is the astral realm. It's the gate of dreaming, right? So when you can raise your energy from Malkuth into Yesod, you can perceive beyond the veil in this realm and the realms beyond, right? So Yesod is the gateway. Yesod is the first gateway. It's where the guardian at the threshold stands. So the path between Malkuth and Yesod is the path of Saturn, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Wait, the Sephiroth. Wait. But there's a little character between
The
them. What is
32nd
that?
path. That is Tau, the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet.
Oh.
So you're going up in reverse on the Hebrew alphabet.
Yeah, what does that mean though? Interesting.
Well, it's a like if you listen to Poke Runyon Hermetic Hour presentation on the Hermetic Tree of Life, he tells you it's basically just like a blueprint, like a map for inner alchemy. So in this sense, Malkuth is the earth beneath our feet, and then Yesod is the lower Dantian. It's the infernal Dantian. It's the sexual energy at the bottom of the chakra system. The chakra system in Western mystery tradition is different than the Hindu one, and it's also different than the Chinese one, right? That's why I use the Chinese one, because it's so much more simplistic and easy to use.
So, is it trying to say that we're looked like this world is backwards or something?
No, here's the thing. When you manifest into the prime material plane, you come down the tree of life like a flash of lightning, right? What do they say? What were you before you were born? Do you know what you were before you were born?
Stardust.
Yeah, you were a twinkle in your father's eye, right? You were the flash of lightning, the flash of lust that your father felt for your mother, and so the Big Bang,
It
the
says
big bang in your cosmos started when your dad blew you into existence, right? When he fired you out of the canyon and you went up the great fathomless cavern and found your home, right? That's
so
the lightning.
it's saying that Yesod is the sphere of Maya. Are you familiar with this?
Right, that's Hindu again. That's not rooted in Hermetic teachings. That's not Chinese. Yeah, it's the sphere of illusion. It's not though. It's the astral realm. So if you're looking at the tree of life, right? If you have the tree of life,
Okay.
if you have
I'm
a tree of
sorry.
life, yeah, no problem. If you have a tree of life diagram in front of you right now, like if you go up if you're a magician, then you go up the center path, the center pillar, right? So you go from Malkuth to Yesod, and you use Yesod. Yesod is a gateway, and it's the inverse gateway of Daoist. Okay, so you can go in through Yesod and arrive at Daoist. You can go in through Yesod and arrive at Keter. Okay, you can go straight up the pillar if you're a magician. If you're not a magician, if you're an ordinary person, then you have to go up either the Shem HaMephorash or the Quaff path. So you go up either the Shen, which is on the left and leads to Hod, or you go up the right, the Quaff path, and it leads to Netzach. So you take either a natural path or a mechanized path, like either a path of spirit or a path of materialism. You see the way that works?
Okay, yeah, because I have it in front of me. Okay, so it says that.
So when you come down from heaven, when your spirit manifesting into the world, you come down from Kether, the Godhead, right? And you go to Hokmah, Binah, Hesed, Gabura, Tefereth, Netzach, Hod, and then down through Yesod, your mother, the moon, and into Malkuth. So what's your question? Like, what do you want to know about path?
So it says that you can go down the Doth in 2 ways. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
And it says that...
Yeah, you can come down from Kether, up from Tithereth, or directly there from Yesod.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand what that meant. And then it says it has like supreme knowledge or something.
Okay.
Like a specialized knowledge.
Yeah, Boy George. Yeah, so it looks like Frauda knows something about the Tree of Life. She says, he or she says, Bina, no wrong direction, no wrong direction, or no wrong direction. Yeah, Boy George. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Hold on a second. Let me pull. Are you still there, King of Heaven?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, as long as you can hear.
Coach.
Yeah, Boy George. Yeah, if you can hear me, and let me pop this open real quick so we can see it on screen since we're talking about it.
No, so you Frank, probably you were right. You can go through it in 2 directions. It was saying what you were saying.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, like, it's just a schematic. It's not the actual, like, you can look at it many different ways. You can look at it in 3 dimensions. Well, right now, if you're looking at it in, do I look? No, you don't look like a man. But earlier you said, when I was talking to you, Schadenfreude, you said you can call me Frau Freud. And doesn't Frau mean, Frau means woman, huh? Means man. I'm sorry. Frau Freude, Frau Schadenfreude. This person down in the chat right now, King of Heaven, you might not know. I don't even recognize the characters in their name, but I see it. I see an owl, and then I see TBMHMBH, something like that. Do you see the name I'm talking about, King of Heaven?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, earlier this person logged in on an account called Schadenfreude, like you're probably familiar, right? Which means Schadenfreude is a German word that means to laugh at someone's misfortune. So if someone slips on a banana, you laugh at them because they got hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a funny German concept. Do I Ruka Reika like man? No, you Ruka Reika girl, Frau Freude. Let me show you though. Okay, let's get into it. You can see the Tree of Life.
That's a fucking woman in the picture, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm fucking out of my mind here. It doesn't matter. You can see the Tree of Life I got on the picture right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's Malkuth down at the bottom, red, gold, and green. All right. That's not a good one though. Let me jump back to this other one. Okay. So here, this very first one, that's a Kabbalistic or Hermetic. That's actually a Hermetic Tree of Life. The Kabbalistic Tree of Life looks like this. There's only one path up on the Hebrew Tree of Life. And it, where'd it go, man? I just pushed on it and it gave me this horse shit. It looks like this one here. It's only got one path coming up from Malkuth. But that's not the one we use in magic. The one we use in magic is the one Poke Runyon has in his book of Solomonic magic is different than all of these. But yeah, we could use this one. If I touch on it, it opens correctly. Let me see. Yeah. So we could use this one as a basic reference, right? And there are 3 paths coming up from Malkuth. You can either go to Hod, you can go to Netzach, or you can go to Yesod, right? Let me find a little bit better one.
But what does that mean to do, like, go? I don't understand.
Okay, so here's what it means. Imagine you're sitting in meditation or you're doing something or whatever, and you're sitting back and you're chilling. Can you see this one pretty good? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I see
So
it. Yeah.
if here's what's said: emergency salvation if you are suddenly killed in like a car accident or something. They say the easiest way to get back to the supernal triad, like to the heavenly kingdom, your timeless homeland, is to first go to the moon. So for the neophyte, for the basic like young person in magic, they will need to go from the earth sphere to the lunar sphere and then on up into reunion with their heavenly family. But all spirits of wisdom and intellect and like beneficial spirits will gather on the surface of the moon. So if you ever get killed suddenly and you realize that you're dead, just go to the moon. Anyway, that's an easy salvation. Some people will say that will get you right back into the hell trap or the soul trap, but it won't. They're full of shit. They don't know magic. Being in Malkuth in the prime material plane means that you're focused directly on the conscious mind and you're seeing the world around you. As soon as you shut your eyes, you fall into the darkness of the Klipoth, right? You can no longer see light. By closing your eyes, you separate yourself from light, right? So now you can travel. You'll start to realize that you're in like an open, floating cosmic space. You can travel astrally just by closing your eyes and relaxing. And then you'll see a star shining in the distance. This star is the reflection, or it's like the light of the moon, right? When you can enter beyond the conscious attention, beyond the critical factor, the guardian at the gate, the guardian at the first threshold, you're able to shift your attention point in your energy formation, your soul body, to move from the sphere of Malkuth into the sphere of Yesod, which means now you can lucid dream and you can astrally project, right? You can project your body of light through the astral sphere, meaning you can go places on the earth, you can go up into the sun and see what that feels like. You can actually genuinely experience these things with a body of light, like a vehicle, an astral body. So that's what it means. As you can move around your attention point. So imagine that right now you're chilling, right? And you talked about like the subtle movements of other people around you. And so how like you'll subtly notice those and you feel like you can do a certain thing, you can look at something or you can move in a certain direction, which makes their energy shift somehow, right? You see what you're doing there? That's you manipulating your own attention point on the tree of life to cause tangible effects in your real world around you, right? So Maya is the world of illusion according to the Hindus, and they would say that everything we see in the prime material plane is just the illusion. It's the world of colored dust, so to speak. But that's horseshit for the magician. The magician, everything is magic. Everything around you is magic. Every perception, every breath is an interaction with the magical world. And none of it is illusion to you. Everything should be real. People now shifting from say for example, you need to go into battle, right? You get in a fight or something. You'll immediately shift your attention point from let me bring the chart back up. Sorry. You can vary, but here is it this one? I think it's this one. Hold on a second. Yeah. So if you're just chilling in your normal day, your mundane, prosaic day to day, you'll mostly oscillate within Malkuth. And you see in Malkuth even there's the four quadrants. So there's the Great East, which is the color yellow, or the Yud. This is the lesser banishing of the pentagram right here. The Yud He Vahe, the north, right? The Agela, the west, the dark blue or black, the Eheye, and then the great south, or the Mikael, the Adonai, the energy of Adonai. So when you cast your circle, you can see here this looks wrong to you, right? But here's what you got to do. In order to understand Malkuth, you have to stand up, flip your head upside down, and look at the diagram with your head upside down. And then you'll see the correct orientation of Malkuth, because you're looking at the tree of life as an inverse right now. You're looking as if you're looking at it from standing outside of it. But when you put yourself in it and you put the Tifereth at your center Dantian, at your heart sphere, then you turn yourself around and you imagine that Geburah is on your right hand, and Hesed is at your left hand, and Hod is down at like your right knee, right? And Netzach is at your left knee, and then Yesod is at your cock, your sexual organ. Tifereth at the heart center, right? And then Keter, Bina, and Hokmah are the supernal triad that resides around the head, the upper Dantian, right? So Bina and Hokmah are actually one sphere, a Taiji, oscillating at the top Dantian, the celestial Dantian. And Kether's a little bit above us. But if you launched into combat suddenly and you got really angry, you would be in the sphere of Geburah. Your attention point would shift to the sphere of Geburah. When you feel compassion for people, your attention point shifts to the sphere of Hesed, right? The sphere of mercy and compassion. When you're immersed in nature, you're shifting to the sphere of Netzach. When you're working with a computer or worked in like mechanical endeavors, right? Like working with tools and shit, your attention point shifts to Hod, the mercurial sphere, right?
Okay.
When you're engaged in prayer and high level angelic and high level ceremonial magic, your attention point will oscillate between the Trinity. Kether is the Father God. Kether's actually it could be the Father God, but Binah's the Divine Mother, and then Hokmah is like the Divine Child. But Kether's actually the Divine Child. And these will oscillate because this child becomes the Father, and the Father gives birth to the Son, and then the Son becomes the Father, right? So these energies oscillate. They oscillate.
Okay. And so
So the general of the military stands at the right hand of God. Michael stands at God's right hand. That's what this means. Kether, God, at his right hand is the violent martial force of Mars. At his left hand stands the administrator of religious education, right? At his left hand is Hesed, the sphere of Jupiter.
Okay.
At your heart center is the sun.
Each one doesn't represent a planet, right?
They have a planet correspondence. They have an elemental correspondence. They have a god name correspondence. This low res gift is really terrible, but yeah, it's inner alchemy. These all have elemental correspondence as well, like sulfur and mercury and salt. And basically, by oscillating your attention point in a healthy way, it throughout your day it will naturally move through the tree of life. And when you're engaged in deep breathing and you're oscillating it along the tree, then you will be creating an immortal elixir within your body and mind. By using the tree of life, you can change the dross lead of the lower mind into the pure, refined gold of spiritual immortality. Remember, I'm always telling you, bring back a gold coin from dreamland, right? That's your first task. That's your first task as a neophyte in the dreaming cycle. Keep looking for it, man.
But what do you mean by that?
You actually have to look for and find a golden coin in dreamland and then grab it and try to wake up with it in your hand. Apple port. Yeah, you have to apple port a gold coin. You have to apple port
I've done this before where I can just.
You got to do it. Yeah, you brought back a gold crucifix one time, right?
Not in my hand, but I remember. Yeah, I remember.
But you got to try. You got to try. That's the first task of the neophyte. Bring me back a gold coin of spiritual power, and then you can go on to the next phase. I've done it. Really? It takes time. Yeah, it takes time, but you can do it, man. You can do it. When you got that spiritual.
I was gonna say to you, like, remember I was saying, like, isn't it annoying when you dream in other languages? Because, recently I had to. This is why I really quit.
What language were you dreaming in? Was it Spanish? Because I know you'd been studying some Spanish.
Yeah, I know like very little Spanish, but
Frau Schadenfreude. She says she's Bina. She's the Dark Mother.
She's Bina.
Yeah. Okay. Lilith.
All right, hold on.
Go
Let
ahead.
me
Go
just
ahead.
say this real quick
Yeah, no, finish. What's
because
up?
it correlates what you just said. I was,
I'm getting excited
I've
because
been
we're learning.
dreaming
Yeah.
of things. It's just so weird about my life, so vividly, and like it's just bad. Sometimes it's just not good.
Really?
Like, yeah, and I
Tell me.
don't like it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the path of Saturn, right? That path from Malkuth to Yesod. Man, it's a giant eye in the sky. It's a vast empty desert, and it's like there's a looming, villainous god looming above you, watching your every step. Don't
Yeah.
worry, man. If you go along the path of magic, it gets hard for a while, but once you make that breakthrough, then you've got
So
some real
yeah, and then I was
power.
gonna ask you, like,
Yeah,
what
tell
is
me.
the
No, keep,
guardian
keep.
of the first gate?
The guardian of the first gate is the conscious attention. It's like you paying attention to what I'm saying right now. When you
Exactly. That's exactly. I already knew, but I
you knew
couldn't
it, didn't
explain
you?
that.
Yeah. Like when you lay down to go to sleep at night and your mind won't let you go to sleep, you keep thinking and thinking and thinking. That's the guardian right there. When you try to pass, like quiet the mind and try to pass directly into sleep without losing awareness, that's how you get past the first guardian. That's the silver key to dreaming. Can you get into dreamland without falling asleep?
Yep. Yeah,
That's
man,
it.
that's
That's it.
crazy.
Yeah, you can do it. You're doing it already, man. Here's what's funny. You've already done it. You've already made the breakthroughs. You've already got the high level magic, but you just don't remember yet. So if you focus on it and you keep thinking about it and learning about this path, then you're just gonna realize you've been doing it the whole fucking time, man. And all these messages from like immortal beings and all these conversations you've had with them are just gonna start coming flooding back to you at some point. And you're gonna be like, motherfucker, I remember already all of this stuff, and you've been practicing it and doing it the whole time.
So the
Just
guardian of the first gate is Yesod or Malkuth?
well, we're in Malkuth, and we're
Neither.
trying. Yeah, we're trying. No, we're trying to get into Yesod. The Guardian stands at those three pathways right there. So if you look again at the Tree of Life, any direction you try to go, the Guardian is going to block you. The Guardian stands at the sphere of the prime material plane and will not let you leave while you're alive. When you're dead, the Guardian will usher you past. But the Magician moves beyond the veil. Here's the thing, when you approach the Guardian, you just have to know that you are the Guardian. And then he'll leave you the fuck alone. And you can walk straight through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil, right? And then you'll enter the fathomless cavern, and then you'll meet the troglodytes, and then you'll have conversations with them. Then I'm not going to tell you all of it because you got to do it on your own, right? You got to do it. You got to do the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll tell you a little bit because the path of the neophyte is really fun. And I think like initiation on the path of the neophyte is a really fun time for young magicians. And I like sharing some of the knowledge and some of the what are they called? Like landmarks, some of the landmark things you'll experience. But old Frau Schadenfreude over here is probably, cursing me. She's like, don't say too much. Shut the fuck up, Frank. She knows I've already said too much. It's funny. No, you're getting it, man. It's clicking with you.
Says
And
I
and the
don't
crazy
quit.
no, like the crazy thing is when I first met you, like you knew shit that I didn't even know. Like, and you directed me in directions of things that I needed to research and find out, and it's really really good. So I feel like we've had a mutually beneficial experience with our magic.
Yeah, man. I think you knew about it. You just didn't know like these names or whatever.
Oh yeah, Schadenfreude points out the troglodytes. Yeah, watch out for those. And I'm not going to talk a lot about it because, like you said, sometimes there's tough and challenging times, but realize that already by stepping through the portal of initiation, you're now standing in two worlds. You have one foot in this world and one foot in the world beyond. It's not something you can really ever turn back from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you Chuda.
And if you learn like the Hindu terminology and stuff from like other sources, the Buddhist terminology and other diverse mystery schools, don't worry about it, man. That's important. Like what I know is what I need to know, and what you're going to learn and what you learn is what you're going to need and learn. And it's good that we have varying interests, all of us, because you can always bring something to the table that I'm not going to know and I shouldn't know because it's your work to get out there and research it, right? And then I can always bring something to the table that you don't know and you shouldn't know, except for from learning from me, because it's my work to have gone out there and researched that. And like people will besmirch you sometimes for like not knowing something. They're like, "Oh my God, you didn't know that." It's like I wasn't supposed to know it. I'm supposed to learn it from you, right? So people sometimes don't get it. You know what I'm saying? That's when they ego edging God out. They let ego get in the way of the transmission. And you know me, man, I'm just fucking straight up. I don't hold back the transmission ever. I'm always sincere and genuine.
Yeah, not too many people know about this shit at all. So, like, I don't know who would expect you to know this.
Look at Schadenfreude says that she had a beautiful, amazingly magical friend that took his life. And he was the only person she ever knew that said troglodytes. The troglodytes got
Troglodyte.
him. Yeah, you got to watch out for those motherfuckers. They do that, man. That he's not the only person they've taken. Yeah, she knows some things that she
A
knows.
person
She
who lived in a cave.
Yeah, she knows some.
What are
Yeah,
those things?
the fathomless cavern. I'm not going to talk a lot about
Mouse
them right
hole.
now.
Mouse hole.
Yeah.
I like that word,
Um,
troglodyte.
Troglodytes. Yeah. Watch out for those motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, man. These. I'm looking into this. It says.
Um, yeah, my condolences to you, Schadenfreude, about your friend. I lost, King of Heaven here, Frater Francis, also knows that we lost Frater Tomas on our journey just recently. It was earlier this year, right? Like, was it March? I think it was March of this year. So only like 7 months ago. And he was only 47 years old, man. He got fucking taken by the troglodytes too. He didn't, he received the silver key of dreaming, but he wasn't able to hold on to it, man. Edgar Allan Poe, Lovecraft, JFK. Who did I just mention the other day? I forget, but there's so many. If you look up like famous people who died at 46, there is such a long list of like some of the most powerful people have been taken by the troglodytes. You gotta keep a fucking sharp eye out for those guys.
And it says, any tips for the first goetic ritual? This was 5 hours ago.
Who said that? What? What's going on?
Hello, everyone. I will finally have time and space to do a goetic ritual. I
Okay.
plan to do for a very long time, however, even though I have lots of theoretical knowledge, I have never done any sort of summoning ritual in a goetic sense. Not that I am completely new to any sort of practical magic, but all of the things I have done so far were mostly small sorceries and such, so I wanted to ask about some tips. I plan to use mainly the procedure developed by Aleister Crowley as described in Lon Milo. You know Lon Milo Duquette, right?
Can't recall. Maybe.
See if
What did they write? It says based on Crowley, but someone else like elucidated it or what? I'm not familiar.
Lon Milo Duquette, he's some guy, some new age guy.
Can you spell it for me? L.
LON
Uh,
space MILO
MIL. Oh, okay, I see
DUQ.
it. He's got
Yeah,
his own tarot.
yeah,
Lon Milo Duquette, Orange County. Wow, he's a California guy. Is this the right one? Author,
yeah, he's popular.
music press. Okay, yeah, I see him. Is he still alive?
Think so.
Tarot con- Tarot
Yeah,
convention. Rabbi Lamed Ben Clifford. Oh, he's using the L, huh? So he's calling himself Lucifer, basically. Lamed.
Oh, he's alive. He was born in 1948.
Okay, wow, same year as my mom. Awesome. So he's a
He's in
rat.
Long Beach.
He's Long Beach, my hometown, man. That's amazing.
Yep. He's 76.
That's my hood. Yeah.
Oh, he's part of the OTO.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not big on Thelema, but he's probably all right. It's in my mind, Thelema and the OTO is kind of a perversion of the HB of L, the Hermetic Brotherhood of Luxor. So I prefer my Golden Dawn and OTA to OTO. OTO is all right though. I mean, if you're gonna do OTO, that's cool. Jack Parsons was OTO. Crowley, that's kind of his whole thing. You know, Thelema wasn't even actually Crowley's invention. OTO was actually created by someone else. I forget who now exactly because I've never had much interest in it. But
I
yeah,
wanted to ask you, the dream journal.
yeah.
I feel like I just remember my dreams, but like, should I write it down? I feel like it would just fuck with my head.
Well, I would. This would be my recommend. This is the way I teach young folks, or in my the 100-day challenge course. Um, I say shoot for like making it a practice, like every morning. Have it near your bed, like if it's convenient for you. You need to organize things around your practice, right? So set it there with a pen, like have a notebook and a pen sitting by the bed, so that if something important happens, do jump up and don't write out entire sentences, just write key words. And if you find that like you're waking up in the middle of the night with messages coming in from dreamland, just jot down a couple of key words and meditate for a few minutes, like 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then go back to sleep, because you'll dream even more if you wake up in the middle of the night and then go back to sleep. It's the wake back to bed method. And so, a couple of things that I would do in conjunction with dream journaling. Number one is I would start learning a little bit more about like what we call memory palaces. So, learning to store things in like visualization in the mind, in like a room, like a palace, a memory palace. So, draw out a memory palace and go from writing down like two or three things, just two or three key words, to over like a 6 month period of time. And you don't have to do it every day, but do it when messages strike you from dreams. And like I said, just jot down a few keywords. Don't write out full sentences. Later in the day, look back at those keywords that you wrote down and see how much of the dream you can recall. That's the key. The key is getting in the practice of melding the two worlds of the dreaming world and the waking world.
Yeah, I feel like I do that a lot. It's just that
Yeah.
I think that people aren't, because like I don't know. I feel like I remember my dreams almost every night. To be honest with you,
Hey,
but
Satanic Bitches in the house. You remember her?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey there, stopping by to
Yeah.
support.
Soro Satanica. Good to see you, Satanic. How are you? Did you ever see the Quentin Tarantino film From Dusk Till Dawn?
No,
Yeah, there's a vampire woman in it called something Satanica. What is her name? That is such a good movie. If you haven't seen that one, you should definitely fucking check it out. From It's played by that Spanish
George
actress
Clooney,
guy.
Quentin
Yeah,
Tarantino,
uh,
Harvey Kittle.
uh, Juliette Lewis is in it. That's really good. What is her name? The Spanish gal that's in that.
Oh,
Um,
Santanico,
satanic
Salem
satanic
Hayek.
Satanical pandemonium. That's what they call her.
Yeah, she's hot.
Esmeralda. Yeah. What's her real name? What did you say it is?
Salma Hayek.
Okay. Yeah. Salma Hayek. Yeah. She plays. But it should be
Oh wait,
Satanica.
Wait a minute.
Satanica Pandemonium.
Wait, no, that's her name, and her real name is that.
Salome Hayek, yeah, something like that.
Wait
Yeah,
a minute. I think I'm. Wait a minute. No, George Clooney. No, this is right.
yeah, I see a couple of different stuff. There's actually like a TV series based on it now. What the fuck? See how they changed the internet? Mistress of the Macabre, Satanico Pandemonium, the vampire queen of the Culebras. Yeah, there's some Isa Gonzalez girl playing her now on a TV show or something. Yeah, weird. Anyway, watch the original From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah, Pandemonium. Pandemonium. Yeah, that's so funny, huh? Selma Hayek. Selma Hayek. Thank you, Schadenfreude. Good movie. Yeah, it is definitely a good movie. Um, I'm not savvy enough here on StreamYard to like really juggle a lot of different things like video clips and shit. And my internet connection just won't allow it. Like almost every time I share my screen, like I'll almost always get disconnected from the internet or drop because I just don't have the internet bandwidth to do it. So Soro Satanica, did you want to come on and say hello? We've got a little time left here. We're at the middle of this third hour, man. Damn, we've been going a long time. I probably need to roll off into dreamland myself, man. It's like 1 a.m. here. What about you, King of Heaven? You probably got to roll pretty quick too, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll on out of here because I'm
Okay.
starving.
Yeah, get some food, man. I
I
just
haven't eaten.
I had dinner right before I came on. Good to see you, man. Take care of yourself. Keep doing
Yeah,
good
good
magic.
talking to you. I'm gonna call some of these people back too and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, get it done.
So thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll see you soon. Yeah, take care, man.
Thank you, Frank.
Happy Halloween. All right, guys. Yeah, if it's your first time, don't let it be your last time. You're just chilling. Okay. Um, Make sure you check me out at www.buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monte. Put a little something, something in the tip jar. Join me on the 100-day magical challenge, Pathways of Magic. I got the full course syllabus up at the coffee page, guys, if you want to check it out. Let me jump back over here in the chat and see what everybody's talking about. Yeah, it's my weekend. I just started my weekend. It's actually Saturday morning here for me. I'm at my dorm alone. Um, so that's why I've been streaming more than usual. I usually only do live streams on the weekend, but I had a day off in the middle of the week this week. So I was able to live stream then. Um, Let me give a little shout out to everybody that's been in the chat today. I saw Da Freak out there earlier. Good looking out to Freak. Also a Fra Schadenfreude. Shout out to you. Thank you for stopping by. Free Gift from God was here and in the ideas room. That was nice to see. And then Soro Satanica is in the ideas room. Good. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Thanks for saying hi and checking in on me. Today's transmission, this one was actually supposed to be Daoist. Wow, I wrote that wrong. I misspelled it. It should be Daoist Invocations open panel. I was going to do a little bit of an open panel, but the only one who came on was King of Heaven, which has basically been routine for my channel. The only thing I did up until like a couple of months ago was one-on-one interviews, and I had never gone on a live stream longer than like an hour. So coming across like the panel verse and realizing that there were like huge group chats of tons of people going like hundreds of hours at a time, I didn't even know about that. And so I found it to be very interesting. Um, yeah. Satanica says, go back and listen. Sounds interesting. Okay, yeah, it's the first 20 minutes. I do some Daoist invocations and talk about Taoism a little bit. It's kind of fun. I'm working with a book that I got when I was actually like 16 years old. It's called the Workbook for the Complete Spiritual Development of All People. And I actually, it was my dream to be like the young disciple, like the Karate Kid to Mr. Miyagi. So it actually manifested through my magic, and I lived with this guy for 2 years, Master Nihua Ching, at his retreat in Oregon. And I was like his factotum. I did everything. I drove his car. I cut his hair. I cleaned his bath. I cleaned the bathroom. I made the meals. I did the setup at the public talks. I did the DAT, like the digital audio tape recorder. I did book editing. I did pretty much everything for like 2 years. I served this guy free of charge when I was in my 20s, from like 21 to 23. I took a little time off from college, and then I ended up going back to college, but I was way late in. But the bad thing is I incurred a lot of debt too, because he was notoriously fucking cheap, and he wouldn't pay me. Even his sons criticized him. He's like, "How could you keep Frank working for you so long and never pay him a wage?" Motherfucker. It's like, yeah, okay, guys, cool. So we will end it there then, and I will sign off with a prayer. Let me give you guys a quick short prayer from the workbook of. Let me just try to find a good one here. We'll do the spiritual harmonization with the moon. Yeah, it was super shady. More of that indentured servitude, though. I was looking for it. I wanted to learn from him, so I learned the basics of acupuncture and spiritual science. And I felt like hell I could either go to school. He's the chancellor of the largest university in the U.S. of traditional Chinese medicine, and it's a pretty sought after position. Like, if you can get that position, then yeah, you're not going to get paid. All right, guys, we'll finish with the spiritual harmonization with the moon. Shining from the west, the clear and pure great moon is waxing splendid and bright. Shining in the dark sky, it is so lucid and full, it cannot be cut, not even by one bit of dust. Because it is so illuminating, the negative atmosphere is completely dispersed. Assisting the yang with the yin, only lucidity can give birth to light. Only the pure can achieve effectiveness of spirit. I harmonize myself with the clear and pure moon in the sky. So it is renewed. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. My divine nature is pure as the nature of heaven. The constancy of my strength is like the sun. The lucidity of my mind is like the fullness of the bright moon. My tolerance in life is like the good earth. My forwardness is effortless like flowing water. My calmness in daily life is like the mountains. I preserve the heavenly order above and the earthly order below, and the order of the myriad beings on the middle path. I trust in Tao and follow the eternal way. Without moving to excess, the way of a human life shall be long and fruitful. I unite with the profundity of the great nature. I renew my relationship with the maternal and paternal energies of the universal concourse. So I renew it. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. All right, guys. Very lovely to see all of you in chat today. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for spending time with me. I have been your Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Eastern Star Division in the Grand Orient, broadcasting to you from Twilight's own Old Peking, deep within the central kingdom of the Celestial Dragon, trapped behind the bamboo firewall. Wizard, warrior, wanderer, wayfarer, and wildcat alike, I wish you well and good magic. Until next time our paths cross, make sure you guys check me out on www.buyme ko-fi.com/Frank Monday. Soro Satanica, see you in the abodes of the future. Frau Schadenfreude, watch out for the troglodytes. I will see you in the abodes of the future. Until next time, be well and good magic. Bye for now.